National Team Challenge on CTV. The Olympic team of Czechoslovakia in exhibition with the Canadian Olympic National. Brought to you by your Chevrolet and Oldsmobile dealer. Test drive a new Chevy or Olds today. And by Labatt Breweries of Canada Limited. Brewers of Labatt 50 Ale and Labatt Blue. Exhibition pre-Olympic hockey on CTV.
The city of Calgary, a 500,000 strong, the oil capital of Canada and gateway to the Canadian Rockies. The Calgary Tower oversees an ever-expanding skyline, a skyline synonymous with success, and one of the big success stories has been fashioned by Canada's Olympic hockey team. Good afternoon. I'm Mike Adams with a fine Cowtown welcome. And wherever you are across the CTV network today, certainly hope you're enjoying your New Year's Day holiday. Today, Canada's national team hosts Czechoslovakia's national B team in pre-Olympic play. And with his pre-game comments, here's play-by-play man Bernie Pascal.
Thanks, Mike, and Happy New Year, everyone. The two teams, Czechoslovakia and the Canadian Olympic team, both gearing for the Lake Placid Olympic Games. And the Canadian Olympic team undefeated in their last 3 games against Moscow Dynamo. And Czechoslovakia, while their last outing, they tied Nova Scotia Voyageurs 5-5. And many familiar faces in their lineup. On defense, Juric and Keuchel from the Olympic team, and they have several exciting newcomers as well. With us, the co-coach of Canada's Olympic team, Tom Watt. And Tom, you've got to look into this game with a great deal of respect to Czechoslovakia.
Well, the Czechoslovakians always have a great hockey team, and the director of the program is Dr. Horschke, the coach of Bratislava, and he's developed a lot of excellent hockey players.
Okay, Tom, and now let's rejoin our host, Mike Adams.
During our intermissions this afternoon, we'll visit with the likes of Hockey Canada Chairman Lou Lefebvre and National Team Captain Randy Gregg. Tom Watt will be along with the highlights. CTV's coverage of international exhibition hockey will continue.
Welcome back to the Stampede Corral in Calgary, and Happy New Year to everyone. And now let's join our public address announcer. Here's Daryl Jans.
I'm Jan.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian Olympic team has a special guest attending today's game who will drop the puck for the official ceremonial face-off. We are pleased to present Miss Pam Johnson, 1979 Stampede Queen. Pam has spent a great deal of her reign as Stampede Queen attending functions on behalf of the city of Calgary and the Calgary Exhibition in Stampede. She attended the Grey Cup in Montreal and has appeared at many national events throughout the country, with her next official engagement being the Quebec City Winter Carnival in February. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Pam Johnson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you rise, please, for the playing of the Czechoslovakian national anthem, and then join vocalist Susan Smith and organist Irene Bessie for the singing of O Canada. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with the traditions of international hockey, before the ceremonial face-off, the players of the two teams will exchange gifts. And now we will call on the captains of the two teams to come to center ice for the ceremonial face-off, presided over by the Stampede Queen for 1979, Miss Pam Jonason.
And there they are, the two captains. Randy Gregg of Team Canada and Sikora, number 14 of Czechoslovakia. We're about set to go now for the opening face-off. The Canadian National Olympic Team and the Olympic team of Czechoslovakia are all set. And we'll return with the opening face-off in a moment. For today's game here in Calgary.
I'm Jim Beckman from Calgary. I'm today's referee.
Greg Boyd from Calgary, linesman.
Alan Tunney from Calgary. I'm the other linesman.
And the officiating staff for this game between Czechoslovakia and Canada. In goal for Czechoslovakia, number 20, Milan Kolisek, who's a 23-year-old youngster from Kladno of the Czechoslovakian First Division. And in goal for the Canadian Olympic team, recently acquired Paul Pajot, an overage junior from Shawinigan Falls, wearing jersey number 29. And moving to center now, the respective teams for Czechoslovakia, the starting center, Ian Hotchuk, number 9. He scored 2 goals in the first game of this tour for Czechoslovakia when they tied Nova Scotia 5-5. At center for Canada, number 11 is Maxwell, flanked by McLean, and Barry is number 19. Number 8 on right wing for Czechoslovakia, veteran Richter, and on the far side, number 24, Carl Holly. And the game is underway. The puck is at center ice. Knocked over by Maxwell. He lost it. Got it ahead. Here's a pass for Barry going in. A shot. And that goes wide. Holly off the boards. Passes to an open side at right wing. Cleared right back in by Barry of Canada. In after it is Lichka. Lichka was hammered against the boards. The puck is cleared to center, where it stopped there by Spring into his own zone to number 5, and that is Tim Waters of Canada. Kevin Maxwell having trouble with it in his own zone. After it for Czechoslovakia is Holly. He's knocked against the boards, and we have our first whistle. And Canada in white, Czechoslovakia in their blue with red trim, and the coach of Czechoslovakia, Dr. Horsky.
Well, Dr. Horsky, as we said at the opening of the show, he's the coach of Bratislava, and they're the Czechoslovakian club team champions, well-respected former junior national team coach.
And back to the action. The puck is to Warren Anderson behind his own net for Canada. Straight up the middle, it's intercepted, a shot, and that's deflected in front off the stick of Sikora. Now trying for Canada, Devaney. John Devaney winding up on the left side, up to his own blue line, coming to center. Devaney shoots it in. Stopped there by Kolisek. After it is Kevin Primo. He's bumped, trying to get the pass in front, and it's intercepted by Sterback. At the line, Anderson's shot is knocked down, and it's cleared out to center. Taken there by Warren Anderson, number 2. Up on the right side goes Devaney. Devaney moving in with Primo in front, and he's knocked against the boards, checked by Sterback. Here's a chance now for Primo, and it's knocked off his stick. And Czechoslovakia brings it right back. This is Lala. Lala got to the line and then lost the puck. The Canadian team, Devaney, on right wing, in with Primo in front. And that pass just failed to click. As they go end to end here at the Stampede Corral, we're still scoreless. Now bringing it out for Czechoslovakia, Ian Hotchuk. He stopped. There's a break now for Nil, right in, and he lost control of the puck before he could get a shot away. Intercepted there by Bezak. Bezak on the left side, and it's off the boards and down the ice. And this will be icing, as it's touched by veteran Terry O'Malley. From Calgary, Stampede Corral. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV.
Want to see what's going to get the Cutlass watchers watching you this year? The new Olds Cutlass sedan. 2 more doors to go with all that Cutlass flair. And Cutlass Cruiser, roomiest Cutlass of all. And the car that started the Cutlass watchers a-watching, Cutlass Supreme.
Hi, Charlie. Miss your bus?
We've had one built for you. Oldsmobile.
Welcome back to the Stampede Corral in Calgary. This is Bernie Pascal along with Tom Watt and Mike Adams. No score between Canada and Czechoslovakia. We played 2 minutes and 10 seconds in the opening period. Eichel cleared the puck out to center. It's intercepted. Shot right back into the Czechoslovakian zone. This is Loida. Loida, number 7, off the boards for Jan Jasko. Jasko passes on the center line to Bezak. His shot goes wide. In after it goes Rusnak. Rusnak at the side of the goal. Gets it back. There's a drive. Loose puck in front. And Pajot covers up. And that drive came from Loida. And Thompson close action around the Canadian goal.
Well, that's what you have to have, and here we get another look at it here, but moves right around the net, the Czechoslovakian player. They really get their defenseman involved in the attack. There he is in the high slot. We see Pajot going down, and Pajot, that's the type of goaltending you need in these international games, and he played an outstanding game the other night.
Another shot right from the faceoff off the stick of Slavic, and that goes wide as it was deflected off Pajot. Puck cleared back into the Czechoslovakian zone. Now it's up on that right wing side. Slavic fires it in. Back for Canada is Tim Waters, number 5. Got the pass ahead to Roger Lamoureux, and he lost it. And it's cleared right back in by Lichka. No score in the first period. Canada with possession. Pass goes up on the left side. Zupancic, he lost it. Now here's a break. Going in is Pearsall, a shot. And that's stopped by Kolisek. Czechoslovakia bringing it right back. Number 22 is František Černý, and his shot right on goal. Left there for Waters, number 5, behind his own goal for Canada. Forecheck by Slavic. Now he brings it out. This is Waters. Waters, a pass to the middle to Lamoureux. Lamoureux going up with Pearsall. Takes it into the corner. Knocked against the boards, and Lichka has it. Lichka then ran into the Canadian player Lamoureux. And we get a whistle, the face-off in the Czechoslovakian corner.
Well, there we see Shane Pearsall. He broke in with a nice shot there. He's got good speed, and he works hard, Shane does. And, well, you can't really expect him to be today impartial, because I'm cheering for the team in white today, Bernie, I'll tell you that. But Shane Pearsall works hard all the time. He's a pepperbot on and off the ice.
Well, Tom Watts had a busy couple of days working the game last night in Montreal, that exciting game against the Soviets. And Tom is a co-coach of the Canadian Olympic team and also works with us on the CTV telecast. Puck is cleared along the board. Stopped there by Richter. Got it ahead. Now here's a chance for Inachak. Inachak, a pass on the left side, a shot by Hawley. Hawley chases it into the corner, chased by Randy Gregg. Comes around the boards to Warren Anderson. This is Anderson. Tried to get a lead pass up the middle to number 17, McLean, and that just failed to click. Czechoslovakia's Inachak at center ice. Checked by McLean. Takes it over the line. Drops it over to Richter, but he can't get a shot, as Kevin Maxwell did a good job of tying him up. Now it's Anderson. Anderson, number 2, a lead pass for Ken Berry. Failed to reach him. Now it's back to Maxwell. Maxwell going in offside at the Czechoslovakian line, and we have 15 minutes and 24 seconds left here in the opening period. And a look at the Canadian bench. An absence of 12 years from Olympic competition, and our Canadian team gearing for the Lake Placid Olympic Games. Their most recent outings, they played Moscow Dynamo, played them 3 times and went undefeated against Dynamo, winning 2 games and tying the other. And the Moscow Dynamo are the number 2 team in the Soviet Union. This is the Czechoslovakian national B team, and there's no score in this game. Cleared around the board. Kevin Primo passed it right in front, and almost grabbing it was Lala, but he was tied up, couldn't get a shot. A shot from close range by Novak is stopped by Pajot. And they pin it against the boards for another whistle. With the score, Canada nothing and Czechoslovakia nothing. Let's pause for a moment. And play just underway. The puck is cleared back to the Czechoslovakian zone. Besak, number 11. Got it over to Darius Rushnak. Rushnak is number 15. Pass at the middle, but it was off the stick of Yasko, and it's back to the Canadian team. Number 15 is Devaney. Tried to get that lead pass to Primo. It failed to click. There's a shot. Yasko had that blocked. Now it comes back to the line. Stanovic can't get a good shot on goal, but it's deflected up over the glass and out of play.
Well, I really like the pace of this hockey game today. Actually, we've had good opportunities at both ends. The Devaney line of Devaney, Primo, and Heinmarsh earlier doing a good job forechecking, coming up with some good opportunities. And we've had some good opportunities against Pajot, and Paul Pajot has played very well in the nets, like the other night against Dynamo.
And back to the action here. This is Tim Waters, a native of Kamloops, British Columbia. Got it back to the line, stopped by Spring, number 8. Tried to get a pass ahead. It was stopped, and Weichner, number 25 for Czechoslovakia, to Slavik. Slavik just left it at center ice, and it was grabbed by Delvies. Back to Spring. On the opposite side to Tim Waters. Trying to get it up the middle there to Delvies. It was intercepted. Slavik is checked and knocked down as he ran into the Canadian player Spring. Almost a steal there, but it's to the Czechoslovakian player Slavik. Up to Sterbak. Sterbak's lead pass to František Černý, and he lost control of it at the Canadian blue line. Puck is just shot down the ice into the Canadian zone. Icing waved off as Tim Waters goes back after it. Here's Waters leading a rush. Up on the left side to Dan Delvies. Into the middle, intended for Anderson. It just failed to reach him. After it is Jim Nill. Into the corner, the puck goes loose. Chasing it there is Richter. Richter left it. No score in the opening period. Here comes Richter for Czechoslovakia. Breaking for the net. Passed it over to Hawley. Hawley to Richter, a shot. Gets it again, another drive. And Pajot covers up as Richter, Tom, showing a lot of determination, getting his own rebound.
Well, we see the Czechoslovakian team, they like to wheel. There's the puck coming in deep, the 2-on-1 situation, really in front of the net, being covered. We see Pajot going down, but you can't let those fellas have that rebound like that. We see Glennie Anderson coming late to knock the Czechoslovakian player down before he got that extra shot on goal.
Roger Lamoureux, number 10, will take the face-off for Canada against Inhachak, number 9, for Czechoslovakia. Both teams at full strength. Puck comes back to the line. Keichel's shot, and Pajot covers up there. Makes the glove save and holds on. An overage junior from Shawinigan Falls. The backup goaltender for Canada in this game is Bob Dupuis from Thunder Bay. Puck has dropped the game, cleared along the boards. Going after it is Randy Gregg. He couldn't get it out. Stopped there by Loida. Here's Loida, number 7, getting set for a shot, and it was blocked. The rebound is knocked into the corner. Loose puck in front, and finally grabbed by Shane Pearsall. Cleared it to an open wing. It goes all the way into the Czechoslovakian zone. The goalie got to it, so icing is waved off. Now they go end-to-end again. Bringing it out is Hawley. His shot, and that goes wide. After it, Inhachak. He is stopped. And it is Zupancic. Got a pass up on the left side to Roger Lamoureux. He was stopped. Hawley brings it back. Hawley going in with Novak. Hawley is knocked off stride before he could get a shot, and the puck is cleared down the ice. And we have 12 minutes remaining here in the opening period. This is Pre-Olympics International Hockey on CTV. Coming to you from the Stampede Corral in Calgary, Canada's Olympic team against Czechoslovakia. Number 14 for Czechoslovakia, Václav Sikora. Now he's waved out of the face-off circle, as is Kevin Maxwell for Canada. Now they drop the puck. Goes back to Brad Peary. Number 3 for Canada behind his own net. Peary Watched by Novak. Off the glass. Gets it outside the line. The Czechoslovakian player Stanovic slipped and fell. Here's Sikora. Pass on the left side. Intended for Yuri Lala. And it bounced away from him. Stanovic, a lead pass on the right side to Novak. And he couldn't catch up to it. Off the boards, it's stopped by Sikora. Then he ran into the Canadian player, and it's brought out by Ken Berry. Couldn't get over the line, though. In the corner. Here's a chance in front for Lala, but he couldn't get a shot as O'Malley tied him up. At center, McLean is bumped by Lichka. Czechoslovakia back with the puck. Lala, number 21, to the line, long drive. And a stick save by Paul Pajot. Into the corner, the puck is underneath. Brad Peary. And we have another whistle. Just a reminder that immediately following this game, CTV Sports will take you to Southern California for the first of a Super College Bowl doubleheader. Southern Cal taking on Ohio State at the Rose Bowl, followed by Florida State meeting Oklahoma at the Orange Bowl. Now back to the action, a loose puck in front. And Pajot steered that to the corner. Taken by Devaney. Devaney lost it. In behind the net. Now it's along the boards to Dave Heinmarch. Gets it to center. And Ladislav Juric has it there. Passed it right onto the stick of Waters. Waters going in a drive. And that's grabbed by Kolisek right in the midsection.
Well, we've had good opportunities at both ends. Tim Waters just lugged the puck through the middle there. The Czechoslovakia defenseman, they just backed in a little bit. Here we see him just moving over the line. The defenseman backing in, playing him one-on-one. There's the shot. And those are hard to handle sometimes when the goaltender doesn't have the full view of the shot.
Back to the action, that drive right from the face-off. Now it comes back to Waters. Waters trying to get it in front for Heinmarch, a loose puck. And it's caught out by the Czechoslovakian player Bezak. Bezak over to Rusnak. Rusnak moving in with Yasko, but he couldn't get the pass back to him. Now for Canada, this is Tim Waters. Bumped off the puck. It's over now to Bezak, a shot. And that's blocked. Into the corner, number 20 for Canada, Heinmarch. Number 11 for Czechoslovakia, Bezak, and a mass of players tie it up.
Well, here we have Bob Heinmarch, but there's Dave Heinmarch. But one difference that we have from the Czechoslovakian team, from the previous team, Moscow Dynamo, the Czechoslovakian team, I'm surprised at how many draws they're winning. They've controlled the puck in the face-off, especially in Canada's end, and that hasn't been the case with past European teams. We've been pretty good on the draw.
Dave Heinmarch's dad is Bob Heinmarch from the University of British Columbia, who coached the UBC hockey team for some 13 years. Off the boards to Jimmy Nill, number 12. He lost it. And helping out is Dan Delvies. Lead pass just got away from Jim Nill. Slides into the Czechoslovakian zone. A race for it. The Canadian player Nill got to it first. So there's no icing. 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the opening period. Delvies almost got loose in front. It's back to the line. Here's Anderson's drive. And it's blocked. Another shot from the side by Anderson. And it comes in front and brought back by Slavin. There's a break for František Černý. Černý going in for Czechoslovakia, and he was stopped by Warren Anderson. A great defensive play by the Olympic team defenseman. Now it's Nill. Nill getting a shot. Blocked in front, a loose puck. And it's back to the line. Here's Anderson. Right in front, loose puck. And it's cleared out to center. Randy Gregg has it for the Olympic team. Gets the puck ahead to Anderson. Anderson on the left side. Here's a break for Zupancic. Into the corner. Got it through the goal mouth, but nobody was there. And it's brought back by Weitzner. Weitzner of Czechoslovakia, long shot. And that's steered into the corner. Canada comes right back. Zupancic, and he lost the puck to Richter. Richter got it ahead. Falling to the ice in Hatchuk. Terry O'Malley, number 24 for Canada, cleared it in. After it is Lichka. Around the boards to Carl Hawley. Now it's brought out by Ian Hatchuk. Ian Hatchuk for Czechoslovakia at center. And it's deflected into the Canadian zone, O'Malley. Over on the far side. Brought out by Shane Pearsall. Off the boards into the Czechoslovakian zone. And it's icing against the Canadian Olympic team. With the score, Canada nothing, Czechoslovakia nothing. Let's pause for a moment. Well, you can see it's banner day here at the Stampede Corral. Every spectator in the building has a red banner, Go Canada Go. And it's been an entertaining game up to this point with exactly 8 minutes remaining in the opening period, and there's no score. Puck knocked against the boards by Tim Waters, helped out by Paul McLean, a native of Nova Scotia. And they get a face-off.
Well, the Go Canada Go banners have really been helpful here in Calgary, and I can tell you, I'm speaking for all the people in the Olympic program, we're really appreciative of the support we've had in the city of Calgary. They've really taken the team to their hearts, and we've had good support, fan support, enthusiasm from all the people here.
Puck is kept in by Jurish, number 4. Goes around the boards. This is Ken Berry. He hits the ice, comes back. Jurish getting set, makes a shot, passed it over, a drive, and that goes wide. Moving up is Sterback. Sterback couldn't get a shot. Maxwell sends it around the other side. Tim Waters trying to get it out. It's cleared up on the wing wing. There's a chance for Maxwell. Going in with Berry. Scores! Maxwell! And Canada goes in front 1-0.
Well, just a great play. The play was made just inside the Canada zone. Here's Paul McLean when their defenseman presses up. Just tipping it by, it creates the 2-on-1. This is what the Czechoslovakian team does. In the short side, a high blast over the glove hand. But the play was made. The Czechoslovakian team likes to press down when they forecheck with their defenseman. And we saw Paul McLean take the shot, take the check against the boards, just tip it by the defender to create the 2-on-1 opportunity. Kevin Maxwell using his teammate as a screen.
Kevin Maxwell from Chilliwack, British Columbia, has been playing at the University of North Dakota, gets the opening goal. He has it again, brings it in. It's stopped there. Now Czechoslovakia's Bezak shot it right on goal. Stopped there. Into the corner for Canada's Spring. Spring knocked down, and we have another whistle with 7 minutes and 3 seconds remaining here in the opening period. Tomorrow afternoon, CTV has a unique treat in store for all the fans of Another World. We're going to have a special 2.5-hour edition of Another World tomorrow afternoon, starting 1 hour earlier than normally scheduled on the full CTV network. Canada 1, Czechoslovakia 0. That shot off the stick of Yasko was deflected wide. After it is Bezak. That is brought out by Canada's Devaney. A pass up the middle. Here's Primo going in. Can't get a shot, goes after the puck. Primo over to Anderson. His shot. And 2 Canadian players in front. It was deflected wide. Puck knocked back now by number 20, Heinmarsh. Trying to get it in front. It goes behind the net. And Rusnak goes after it there and clears it down the ice. Warren Anderson, number 2, back for Canada. Anderson up to his own blue line to Devaney. On the left side goes Primo. In front, but he couldn't get a shot away. Puck into the corner. And the Czechoslovakian player, Yasko, really hammered against the boards by Heinmarsh.
Well, Heinmarsh came in a little late there behind. The Czechoslovakian player, as you see, is down and really took him in hard. But there was a 2-1 opportunity. Here we have it coming in a little late, and this you've got to watch with the arms a little high. Whoops. There he is going down right against the boards at that point. Dave Heinmarsh backing off after the check.
The only goal of the game scored by Maxwell from McLean and Waters as Canada leads 1-0 from Calgary Stampede Corral. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV. Ready now for the face-off in the Czechoslovakian zone. Delvey wins the draw, got a shot, and that just goes wide. Stopped by Jim Nill. Nill passes in front. Anderson was spun around before he could get a shot. Into the corner. This is Delvey. Rolls it in front. At the line, Peary backhands it into the corner. Jim Nill behind the net, rolls it in front. And a stop, and it's shot down the ice. Back for it for Canada, Terry O'Malley. 39 years of age, who played with Father Bauer's original Olympic team. And he's coaching at Wilcox, Saskatchewan now, and Terry O'Malley has joined the Canadian Olympic team, Tom, adding a little experience, well, a great deal of experience on the defense.
Well, this was the feeling of Father Bauer when he came in. Terry came in after the training camp, and he is the only player that's a link to the last Olympic team that we had in 1968, Canada returning to the Olympic Games in hockey after an absence of 12 years.
And I have to get it in. He's from the old alma mater, St. Mike's in Toronto. puck is cleared out to center. Stopped there by Peary. Peary got it ahead. Dalby's tried to deflect it. Brought back by Richter. Drops it there for Ian Hotchuk. In front for Hawley, and he just failed to get it as his stick was lifted before he could get a shot. Here comes Anderson for Canada, and it was stopped at the line. Brought back by Richter. One-on-one. Richter getting set. Dipsy-doodling into the corner. Spun around by Peary, and he's knocked into the boards. 5 minutes and 16 seconds left in the opening period. Canada leading 1-0 on a goal by Maxwell.
Well, we're even now in late checks. Jimmy Nill took a late check now with number 9 of the Czechoslovakian team. Hacek just coming in late there and taking him. So after Heinmarsh and Czech, we're even 1-on-1 with the late checks.
Now Sikora lost the draw. The puck is cleared back to the Czechoslovakian zone. After it there is Loida in behind his own net, knocked against the boards, and helping out is Yuri Lala. Lala lead pass for Novak. Watch him go. Novak on the left side has great speed, but he was stopped as he collided with defenseman Jim Waters. Now after it is Novak. A shot from the side. Blocked. Comes back. Winding up. Loida's shot, and that missed the target. In behind the net. Sikora rolls it in front. Lala trying to get a pass. He was checked, and the puck goes to the Canadian player Spring. Now a break. Here comes Shane Pearsall. Going in. A shot, and that's blocked by Kolizek. Pearsall still has it. In the corner. Moving in front, a drive, and that's knocked down in front. And brought back by Novak. Novak up the middle to Sikora. Sikora drops it back. Ball is shot, and that didn't miss by much on that far corner. As they've really opened up in this game. Here's Lala. Getting set, a drive. Pajot stops that. Back in front, Sikora, and it's blocked. And the Canadian team fires it down the ice. And it'll be icing as it's touched by Lichka.
Well, this is one of the things that we have to learn. I know it's not too exciting sometimes for the fans when a team just takes it and can. In fact, a lot of the fans boo when you deliberately ice it, but that's commonplace in Europe. If you're out there a little too long on the shift, they think nothing of shooting the puck down the ice to get the stoppage, get the change, get the fresh troops out there.
Both teams are at full strength. Canada leading 1-0 on a goal by Maxwell. Chases the puck down. It's cleared around the boards. Number 17 for Canada, McLean, pinned there by Lichka. We'll have another face-off in the Canadian zone. This is the Canadian Olympic team preparing for the Lake Placid Olympics. The last time Canada competed in the Olympics was in France in 1968, and Canada won a bronze. And while you talk to anyone in the camp, they're very optimistic about a medal this time at Lake Placid. Now the Czechoslovakian team. Yasko's shot. The rebound covered up by Pajot. Rolled off and into the net, but the whistle had gone. There was no question about that. The referee had blown the whistle. Now let's check on the intermission features, and here's Mike Adams.
In our first intermission, a message, a New Year's message from Hockey Canada Chairman Lou Lefebvre. I'll talk with national team member Randy Gregg, and Tom Watt will be along with the highlights of this first period.
Okay, Mike, now it's back to the action. This is Ken Berry, got to center, but he was stopped there. Maxwell goes in after it, delayed offside at the Canadian blue line. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the opening period. Beautiful New Year's Day in Calgary, Alberta. The sun is shining. Very pleasant day. And we'd like to take this opportunity to wish all the viewers along the full CTV network a very happy New Year's and a prosperous 1980. It's been a prosperous first period for the Olympic team, leading 1-0. And it's Maxwell with the puck. He has scored the only goal of the game. Gets it ahead to Berry. Berry clears it in. Trying to catch up to it was McLean. And it's back to center. Gregg, the captain for the Olympic team, rolls it in front. And it's taken there by the Czechoslovakian player Cherny. Back into the Canadian zone, Maxwell. Winding up. Maxwell, good move. Down the left side. Moving in front. Rolls it there. And the Canadian player Berry was hammered into the net. Puck comes back to Slavik at center. Slavik for Czechoslovakia is stopped. Now it's Terry O'Malley. O'Malley on the left side for Ken Berry. He reached, just couldn't get his stick on it. In behind the net. This is Krejcka. Delayed penalty coming up against Canada. Czechoslovakian player Juric is knocked, and we have the penalty call. Referee Jim Beckman, and it'll be against Canada.
Well, Paul McLean did slash at the Czechoslovakian defenseman there, but I think it was a little frustration with the Czechoslovakian player taking Barry, first of all, right into the net. But here we see Paul McLean in the box. Now, there's the little love tap just on the back of the head as they come off the boards in the 2 minutes for the slash.
Well, Barry was lucky to get away without a penalty, too. After he was hammered into the net, he took quite a swing at the Czechoslovakian player, but the referee missed that and got McLean on his minor. So we'll see how effective the Czechoslovakian power play is here with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the opening period. Puck goes back to Keitel, the veteran defenseman of Czechoslovakia. Now it's on the right side for Czerny. Breaking up over the line goes Carl Hawley into the corner. Loida didn't show much speed going after the puck. Stopped at the line by Keitel. Got it over. Inachuk back to Keitel, getting set, a drive, and blocking that, goaltender Pajot.
Well, you see how far Paul Pajot came out of the net. He came right out, and that's what you have to do when those shots are coming from the point. He comes right out so that the men are not able to tip the puck in. Here we see the Czechoslovakian team controlling the puck. Keitel takes it to the middle so he can see some net. Look how far Pajot is out of that net. Then we see the Canadian defenders taking the men behind him so that they don't get the tip-ins and the rebounds.
Good goaltending by Pajot in this game. Puck is cleared up on the left side. Primo trying to get it out for Canada. Into the corner, Inachuk has it. Number 9 for Czechoslovakia. Tried to get it over there to Richter. Back to Inachuk. Couldn't get a direct shot on goal as he was all tied up there by the Canadian players. Spring. And down the ice it goes off the stick of Primo. 58 seconds left in the Canadian penalty to McLean. 1-0 for Canada. Back cleared to the line. Stopped there by Sikora. Here's Sikora back into his own zone for Czechoslovakia. 41 seconds left in the Canadian penalty. Here in the first period. On the left side. Here's a chance for Lala. Lala can't keep it in. Now at the line it stopped. Rolling puck in front. Novak trying to get it loose. Left it for Lala. Lala moving to the side. Lala coming right in front. Now goes behind the net. Lala back to Keitel. Keitel back to Lala. There's a drive. Blocked in front by defenseman Waters. Keitel keeps it in. Backhands it into the corner where it's shot down the ice by Waters. 28 seconds left in the opening period. 3 seconds left in the Canadian penalty to McLean. Novak at his own line. Czechoslovakian player Stanovic was injured. He's going over to the bench slowly. Now it's Randy Gregg with 10 seconds left. Shot it down the ice. Keitel chasing it back into his own zone. And Keitel touches it. And it's icing with 2 seconds remaining in the opening period. And it's been a fast-paced 20 minutes, Tom.
Well, there we see Milan Keitel. He's the captain of the team in Pilsen, a former national team member for quite a few years with world champion teams. Czechoslovakia 1976 and 77 has appeared in the Olympic Games. A very experienced defenseman, but Canada did a terrific job killing off that penalty. What we're doing is we're not staying in a very static box. We're chasing it out of the box. We're forcing the Czechoslovakian team and all the international teams that we play to try and make their plays a little quicker. Don't give them time to make the play.
And there goes the siren to end the first period of play here at the Stampede Corral in Calgary, Alberta. The Canadian Olympic team heading to their dressing room, and Czechoslovakia heading to their room at the opposite end of the Stampede Corral. And a fast-paced, action-filled first 20 minutes. And at the end of the first period, the score, Canada 1 and Czechoslovakia 0. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV.
Exciting end-to-end hockey action, just your typical international style hockey, devoid for the most part of the physical game so often associated with hockey here in North America. Both teams missed glorious scoring opportunities in the first period, especially early in that period. Jimmy Nill from Canada in alone on goaltender Milan Kolishek had the puck go off his stick and came away without a goal. The Czechs also had their share of opportunities in the first period, but goaltender Paul Pajot up from Shawinigan Falls Cataracts of the Quebec Junior League was the man in the action for Canada. Paul just up, as I mentioned, from Quebec. He played against the Soviet Dynamo in the last game of the three-game series, and they beat the Soviet Dynamo by a score of 5-1. Paul is an outstanding young goaltender, played formerly with the Quebec Rempart. When Quebec Rempart's coach left to coach Shawinigan, he acquired Paul Pajot via the trade, so you know how much young Paul Pajot was thought of in Quebec junior hockey and doing a fine job with the Olympic team. One goal in that period scored by Kevin Maxwell from Paul McLean and Tim Waters. A pretty play and a great shot by Maxwell from just outside the circle on the right side of goaltender Milan Kolishek. One penalty in the first period to Canada's Paul McLean for slashing at 17:38, and shots on goal. Well, the Czechs outshot Canada by a total of 16-9. One goal again, 1-0 for Canada after one period. Hockey Canada is firmly behind the Canadian national team, and here with his New Year's message, Chairman Lou Lefebvre.
I think it's most appropriate that I should start this off by taking the opportunity on behalf of the Olympic hockey team, the Board of Hockey Canada, and the staff of Hockey Canada to wish all of the viewers a very happy and prosperous new year. And to take, of course, this opportunity as well to let a lot of you know just how much cooperation this Olympic team has had from a tremendous number of sponsors throughout the country, but more particularly in Calgary. As you probably know, this Olympic team is a revival, I guess one would say, of the Bauer concept of the late 1960s, where Father Bauer attempted certainly to introduce an alternative route for young hockey players to follow. Those who have the talent and the skill, but aren't quite ready to make the commitment to professional hockey. This Olympic team is an attempt to develop that new thrust, that new opportunity. As most of you can see from watching the game today, we do have some very talented young hockey players, most of them, although not all, but most of them certainly coming from the ranks of university hockey, both in Canada and the United States. I think it's a very interesting blend of concepts, of players, and of course the coaching staff, headed by Father Bauer, but very ably assisted by Claire Drake from the University of Alberta, and Tom Watt from the University of Toronto, and of course Lauren Davis, who at one time was with the New York organization. So it really has been an attempt to show that this caliber of hockey can be played, international hockey I'm speaking of. As you know, this team is being prepared and peaking for February of this coming year. The Olympics is what this is all about. The exhibition games, where we've done reasonably well in some instances, not too well in others. We obviously did not do that well in Lake Placid. The part of our team that traveled with the professionals to the Izvestia tournament did, I think, very, very well, but the Canadians as such did not do very well. This team has been prepared to play international style hockey, which really means tournament style, big ice surface, the passing, skating, and stick handling game. Much less of the rough stuff that we normally associate with our Canadian level hockey. A different game altogether, an interesting game, I think one that Canadians have come to appreciate and to enjoy, and that hopefully we will be able to continue. I think the other point that I would want to make is that this team is made up of the players that were available to us. They are a product of the system. We obviously have not been able to get all of the best Canadian hockey players. Hopefully, in the very near future, with the establishment of a new Super League at the university level, we will be able to put together the kinds of team that will represent Canada with dignity in international competition.
Hockey Canada Chairman Lou Lefebvre. And coming up in the intermission, we'll have national team member, Captain Randy Gregg. He's a defenseman from the University of Alberta. He'll be coming up as CTV's coverage of pre-Olympic international hockey returns in a moment.
of Alberta Golden Bears, and Randy is a defenseman. Randy, it seems by looking at you that first period was quite physical.
Well, it was. We came out a little bit slow, I think. Our game is a skating game, and if we're not doing that, it makes it awfully tough on us. They're a good skating team, and they're very big compared to the Russians, so it was an interesting first period.
You missed a couple of chances both teams did early in the first period on breakaways. Does that sort of set you back a little?
Well, not really. I think we have to keep on forcing them in their end. The Czechs, when they get possession of the puck, are very intense with it, and I think if our game plan anyway is to get on them as quickly as we can and to force them in their end.
Must be nice playing in front of a goaltender like Paul Pajot. Played so well against Moscow Dynamo in the last game, and he's continuing here this afternoon.
Right, he's playing very well. It makes the defenseman's chores a little bit easier.
There's been a lot of criticism of the Olympics defense, perhaps a couple of injuries, the depth maybe not there. Is that defense rounding into shape now?
Well, I think so. I think people have to realize that injuries are a major factor. There's not a number of people in the country amateurs that we can replace with in our team, and I think that it's important that these fellows get a chance to rest and are ready for the Olympics. That's, in fact, our major goal, so we're ready for that.
You know, bringing the puck out of your own end, you make one or two nice passes, and the big knock against the team in the past has been the fact that you make those two good passes and then perhaps dump it into the other end. You kind of try and change that sort of thing and perhaps take the puck in instead of dumping it?
Well, we are, but again, our coaching, I think, is very good in international hockey, and the major influence is that if we can force the Russians and the Czechs in their own end, their defensemen aren't used to having a lot of pressure on them, and we feel that we can make turnovers there and get our goals that way.
Okay, this is Canada's first chance to take a look at the Olympic team, so Randy, perhaps we'll take it all the way back to August of '78 when the idea was first revived. I understand you had some tryout camps across the country.
We did. We had 3 camps, one in Edmonton, one in Toronto, and the other in Quebec City, and that brought in approximately 200 hockey players that were trying out for the team, and that was rounded down to approximately 2 teams at Christmas of '78. One team stayed in Calgary and played the Russians and a number of professional teams, and the other team toured Europe. Both were quite successful, and starting in August of this year, we began the real training camp for this team.
I think a big plus for the Canadian team has been its conditioning, and you know you have to be in shape when you're playing these European teams on the bigger ice surfaces. Tell us something about the conditioning program, both on and off the ice.
Well, at this time, we're going approximately 2.5 hours on the ice, and if we're not having a number of games in the certain time, then we'll have about 2 or 2.5 hours off ice training, which includes weights and endurance training. We do feel that that's necessary. Certainly the Russians are fantastic in their conditioning, and we have to be just as good.
I mentioned the extra size of the ice in international hockey. You're training here in the Corral, and it's not an international ice surface. Is it a detriment to the team not to practice on the bigger ice?
Well, I think it is. Unfortunately, that's one of the drawbacks of training in Canada. I think the Calgary situation is very good. Unfortunately, the ice surface is smaller. What we'll have to do before the Olympics, and we plan on doing that, is training for about a week on the surface, and we feel that that will give us enough time to train.
Now, you met this Czechoslovakian team, I believe, at the pre-Olympic tournament in Lake Placid, or at least you saw them in Lake Placid. Is it the same team? Are they going to give you a hard time in the Olympics in February?
Well, actually, the team that we'll be seeing in the Olympics was the Izvestia team in Moscow that we did face, and yes, they are very good. They're a very big physical team, which is unlike the Russians, but they're very good with the puck and are quite hard on the defensemen. But certainly, we will have to play them if we do get into the finals, and it will be a hard task.
You know, you mentioned Izvestia. The team was split for a couple of December tournaments, the one in Izvestia with the NHL and the one in Lake Placid. Was it a detriment to the team? Did it hurt to be split like that?
Well, during those tournaments, obviously, I think it hurt the teams, but again, our ultimate goal is the Olympics, and I think overall those 2 tournaments were very important for the experience of this young team. So, in fact, I think it was very good for the team. We're playing very well when we come back.
I think a problem with both squads, both overseas and here, was the fact you couldn't score goals in either of those tournaments, but you came back against the Soviets and scored, well, bushels.
Right. Well, the people are getting intense. We're back to where we like to play hockey, and the injuries are starting to come around, and that's an important factor that not many people know about. Certainly, when everyone gets healthy, it will be very, very nice.
Randy Gregg, thank you very much. Best of luck the rest of the way in this game and in the 3 games against the Czechoslovakian team. Randy Gregg, the captain of the national team. The national team captain, the score at the end of one period of play is 1-0 for Canada over the Czechs. From Calgary Stampede Corral, CTV's pre-Olympic hockey will continue in a moment. Tom Watts along with the highlights.
Don't be shortchanged.
Today's first period of action here at the Stampede Corral. The Olympic team up in front of the Czechoslovakia national squad by a score of 1-0. And Tom, you watching up there with Bernie Pascal as a coach, what did you see in the first period that really impressed?
Well, I saw a lot of good technical things done by our hockey club. I was very happy with a few things. The first highlight that we have to show the people is really something that we've been trying to do all year. One of the things that you have to do against the Europeans, you have to put some pressure on them, not only in their own zone, but in the neutral zone. They like to have their forwards cross while their defensemen handle the puck. And the first highlight we have to show you is that we are forechecking 2-1-2, and we do that in the neutral zone. Here we see Dan Delvis, and there we see Jimmy Neal, whose job it is to go to that free defenseman. And he gets there early after Dan Delvis is forced to pass, goes in all by himself, but loses the puck. Had a good opportunity, loses the puck in front of the net. But the key point about the play was the way we were forechecking the 2-1-2 at that point. Now, the second highlight that we have is in our goal, and the goal that we scored, I was very, very pleased at what happened. We were a little confused in our own zone. We threw the puck around the boards. We got Tim Waters. Here we see it coming around. Timmy tips it up, and Paul McLean really makes the play. Tips it by the Czechoslovakian defenseman, and they like to forecheck with their defenseman coming down. Now we see number 16 at the far left of your screen. He's the forward trying to back up, and it now creates a 2-on-1. We have Kenny Berry out of the picture on the left. Maxwell uses him as a decoy, shoots. The puck beats the Czechoslovakian goaltender on the short side. But the play was really made inside the blue line when Paul McLean just tipped that puck by the defenseman. They like to press down, and if you think back to the Canada Cup, in the final goal that Darryl Sittler scored against the Czechoslovakia team, that was exactly the same type of play. What happened was the Czechoslovakian defender again, the defenseman, pressed down at the blue line, the puck was just tipped by him, and that created the 2-on-1 opportunity.
Okay, Tom, what's the difference between the style of this Czech team and the Soviet team you just finished playing?
Well, one thing that's typical of the Czechoslovakian team, they really pick you a lot. You know, we look on it as being interference, but they really get in your way in your forechecking. They try to hold you up, and sometimes that's frustrating to our players.
Okay, Tom, with the score Canada 1 and the Czechs no score, we'll return with the second period in a moment.
Calgary, this is Bernie Pascal, and the second period is underway. The puck is cleared back to Hawley. Hawley of Czechoslovakia to Lichka. Stopped at center ice. And it's Kevin Maxwell for Canada who has scored the only goal of the game. Inside the Canadian line, Berry tries to get it out. He's stopped. Hawley moving in front, couldn't handle that pass, and it comes outside the line. Lichka blocked it there. Then he ran into trouble. McLean got it to center. He was stopped, helped out by Waters. Ahead to Maxwell, and he couldn't catch up to the pass. Off the boards, Canadians right in front. There's a drive. Berry is stopped by Kulisek. The Czechoslovakian goalie covers up. A close call in front off the stick of Ken Berry. And action. Berry all alone in front. The backhand goes high. Juggled and blocked by Milan Kulisek, the 23-year-old goaltender for Czechoslovakia.
Well, this line of McLean, Berry, and Maxwell has been dangerous every time they've been on the ice.
This is Juris now for Czechoslovakia. A pass up on that left side. Bringed out by Lala. Lala got it over. Here's a chance for Sikora moving in front. And he was tied up by Randy Gregg. And we have a face-off in the Canadian zone.
Well, another thing that Paul Peugeot is learning very quickly, you see him kill that puck very quickly, putting his hand on. In international hockey, that's what you have to do. You kill it every opportunity you have. They're not as strict about calling you for delaying the game.
There's a shot right from the draw. Lala had that blocked. Puck goes against the boards. Lala trying to get it back to Jurish. He was stopped, and coming out for Canada is Heinmarsh. Heinmarsh shoots it into the Czechoslovakian zone. Goaltender Kulisek knocked it up over the glass and out of play. We played 1 minute and 8 seconds here in the second period. The only goal of the game scored by Maxwell from McLean and Waters at 12:34 of the opening period. One penalty in the game, that was to McLean of Canada. Dalby, number 18, from the University of Toronto at center now for Canada. And he's flanked by number 9, Anderson, and number 12, Nil. He scores! Nil, right from the draw.
Well, that's what you have to do. We're controlling the face-off, and Dan Delvis, he is our best draw man. He's been about 70% all year. We just dropped Jimmy Nill. Look how Jimmy Nill has dropped off. Delvis wins the draw just as clean as the whistle, shoots in one motion, beats the Czechoslovakian goaltender. But that's what you have to do. You have to control that puck from the draw. And we were a little lax early in the hockey game, but Delvis certainly won that one clean.
Jimmy Nill, who played junior in Medicine Hat, a native of Hanna, Alberta, and also the University of Calgary Dinosaur hockey team, puts Canada in front 2-0 at 1:10 of the second period. Nill scoring the goal from Delvis. Now it's back into the corner. Nill for Canada. Drops it back to the line. Peary slaps it off the boards. Puck goes loose. After it there, Delvis rolls it in front. Back to O'Malley, a shot. Deflected in front and goes wide. O'Malley stops it. Moves it in front. Delvis banned on his drive. And the Czechoslovakian player, Weitzer, shoots it down the ice. No icing. This is Terry O'Malley bringing it out for Canada. That pass was intended for Nill and just failed to get to him as he didn't see it coming. Stanovich into the corner, lost control of the puck. Here's a chance for Nill again, couldn't get a shot. Canada's Anderson drops it back into the corner, back to loose puck in front, and Kolisek stopped that. As the Canadian team really putting on the pressure here and forcing Czechoslovakia to ice the puck.
Well, I was very happy with the way we didn't throw that puck away, but here we're going to have another look at the goal. We have Delvis winning it. We see Jimmy Nill, who's backed off a little bit, not getting tied up with the Czechoslovakian defenders at the line at the face-off circle, shooting all in one motion after the draw was won cleanly.
Now ready for this face-off, Roger Lamoureux, who's from Calgary. Number 10 will take the draw for Canada. Stopped there by Spring. Rolls it in front. Kolisek steered it to the corner. Carl Hawley, number 24 for Czechoslovakia. Drops it back to Jurish. Jurish had trouble with it. Helped out by Inachak. Inachak bumped off the puck. And the Czechoslovakian players really hemmed up in their own zone. Now Richter will try. Richter up to his own blue line. A pass on the left side for Hawley. He couldn't hold on to it, and Waters has it for Canada. Waters ahead to Pearsall, who just got it out to center. Jurish over to Hawley. This is Hawley, number 24 for Czechoslovakia. Drops it over to Richter. Richter coming up with Hawley on right wing. Hawley chasing the puck. Gets up to it, a backhand shot, and that's dropped by Pajot. Into the corner. They hold it against the boards for a whistle. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV. We played 3.5 minutes here in the second period. Canada leading Czechoslovakia 2-0. Brought back by Keuchel, backhanded into the Canadian zone. After it there is Lala. Lala, number 21, bumped off the puck. It goes to Sikora. Back to the line. A drive by Keuchel is blocked by Randy Gray. Keuchel, number 17, dips it in front. And Novak just failed to get that. Off the board, stopped by Loida. Loida, number 7, then he overskated it. Puck rolls to Lala. His shot. Now moving up to keep it in is Loida. Backhands it, but he was hammered against the boards by the Canadian player McLean. And the puck is fired down the ice. Keuchel, number 17 for Czechoslovakia. And it's icing against the Canadian Olympic team. There's Keuchel, the veteran defenseman, has played in numerous World Hockey Championships, Tom.
As we've said, he's the captain of the Pilsen team, and Pilsen were first in the second division last year and are now midway in the standings of the first division at the break, which most European club teams have to participate in these international tournaments.
Right from the draw, that shot off the stick of Bezak was stopped. Kept in, number 15, Rusnak. Trouble with it, the Canadian player Devaney knocked against the boards along with Rusnak. O'Malley pins the Czechoslovakian player Jasko, and we get another whistle. I'm impressed with the play of Terry O'Malley, considering, you know, he's 39, played in Japan a few years, and he's been coaching in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. He's really been a steadying influence out there.
I think he hurt his ankle there, Bernie, trying to control that puck against the boards. I see him, he was limping, and on the bench, our doctor, Dr. Jeff Thomas, is taking a look at him as Mo comes to the bench.
Well, the Canadian team has been hit hard with injuries. Now they they come out. This is Lamoureux on the right side. Rather Hindmarsh in the corner. He was stopped. Got it back to the line to Waters. Number 15 Devaney trying to get it in front. Hindmarsh couldn't reach the pass, and it's knocked against the boards as Hindmarsh up the Czechoslovakian player Rushnak and knocked him down. Bringing it out is Bezak. Long shot, and that was nowhere near the net. Waters has it, and it's icing against Czechoslovakia as that shot originated from the Czechoslovakian side of center.
Well, I'm afraid that was one play I didn't understand. All he had to do was take 1 or 2 more strides to get over center ice, and he could have made the same shot. He had lots of room, but he shot from behind center ice red line. Puck comes all the way back for an icing call.
They've played 4 minutes and 58 seconds here in the second period, and Canada leads Czechoslovakia 2-0 on goals by Maxwell and Nil. This is Delvies. He's chased out of the face-off circle, and moving in there now will be Anderson, number 9. Nil is number 12. Puck comes back to Nil, back to the line to Anderson. His weak shot is stopped in front, cleared off the boards, and this is Slavic getting it out to center to Weitzner. He couldn't control it. Randy Gregg off the boards. Puck loose at center, taken by Duras. Duras of Czechoslovakia got it to the Canadian line. A lead pass for Anderson. Going in with Delvies. Delvies stops, rolls it in front, a loose puck. And it was stopped and brought back now by Slavic. Slavic coming up with Weitzner. In over the line. And it was knocked off his stick and shot down the ice. Number 10 for Czechoslovakia, Sterbach. Sterbach behind his own goal. Off the boards on that right side for Slavic. Up to Weitzner. Weitzner's shot deflected off Randy Gregg. Gregg, number 4 for Canada. Now the Canadian team brings it out. Nil got to center. He was stopped there. Goes after the puck, though. Then he was knocked off stride. We played 6 minutes in the second period. This is Hawley. Hawley straight up the middle now for Czechoslovakia. Dropped it there for Inacek, but it was offside. With the score, Canada 2, Czechoslovakia nothing. Let's pause for a moment. Welcome back to Calgary, Alberta. The Canadian Olympic team leading Czechoslovakia 2-0 here in the second period. Here's a break now for Canada. They score, Zupancic. What a shot by Zupancic. And Canada goes in front 3-0.
Well, Stelios Zupancic, he's got the quick feet going for him, and he just came all the way from the left side. Here we see the puck being just tipped into the neutral zone. Stelios come all the way from the left side. Now he winds up. He's got lots of time with the shot. Seemed to handcuff the Czechoslovakian goaltender, but it was whistling.
Zupancic, who played junior hockey with the Toronto Marlboros and also Oshawa, and is a member of the University of Toronto Blues, put Canada in 3-0. Now the puck is brought back by Czechoslovakia. Here's Novak going over the line. Drops it back for Sikora, and Peugeot stopped that. Into the corner. Knocked behind the net. Chasing it there is Novak right in front. And intercepting it, the Canadian team gets it out to center. That pass for Pearsall rolled off his stick. Lichka, number 5, up on the right side. Bumped off the puck there. The Czechoslovakian player, Lala. And Ken Berry has it for Canada. Lala knocked it off his stick, but put it right onto McLean. Back to Berry, a drive. And that's blocked by Duras. At center ice, this is Terry O'Malley. O'Malley brings it in for Canada. O'Malley going in with McLean. Fired it into the corner, and Maxwell goes after it there. Puck loose at the side of the net. There's a shot! And Maxwell almost had his second of the game. Here comes Rushnak. Rushnak moving in on goal. Got too deep and couldn't get a shot. In behind the net is Anderson. Puck is underneath him. And we have a whistle. Referee Jim Beckman, far side of the puck. I'd like to remind you that CTV's great lineup of hockey action continues with Super Series 80. The Red Army versus the NHL. This Thursday, January 3rd, Tom and I will be in Buffalo. The Red Army against the Buffalo Sabres. And on Sunday, January 6th, the Red Army take on the Quebec Nordique live from the Quebec Coliseum. Watch it all right here on CTV. And a hooking penalty to Novak of Czechoslovakia. 12 minutes and 18 seconds left in the second period. And Canada leads Czechoslovakia 3-0. Canada on the power play. This is Randy Gray. Pass ahead to Berry. He was knocked against the boards by Juriš, number 4. Sterback behind his own goal for Czechoslovakia. Pumped by Berry. Maxwell trying to get the puck loose. He's knocked against the boards by Juriš. And McLean pushes at the Czechoslovakian player Juriš. But the officials are in there quickly to break it up.
Well, there you see Kevin Maxwell, and Paul McLean didn't take too lightly. Kevin Maxwell scoring the first goal of the hockey game, leading scorer at the present time with Canada's national team, a native of Chilliwack, BC, and a member of the University of North Dakota's hockey team. He's not too big, a draft by the Minnesota North Stars, but he's played great hockey this year for the team.
That last goal was scored at 6:19. Zupancic from number 5, Waters, and Spring getting assists on that last Canadian goal. McLean, number 17, gives it to Maxwell. Maxwell back to the line. Anderson back to Maxwell. He lost control. Keichel goes after it, trying to get a whistle. Slavic helps him out. The Canadian team, Maxwell backhands it into the corner. And Keichel finds a spot and shoots it down the ice. 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the Czechoslovakian penalty. This is Berry. Got away from Loida, but lost the puck to Slavic, who shoots it back into the Canadian zone. Warren Anderson. Now here comes Maxwell. Maxwell, number 11, to the Czechoslovakia line, was stopped and dumped right there. Anderson for Canada. Over to Berry. Berry going in on goal. A shot, the rebound, and it's blocked by Kolysak. Maxwell, number 11, back to Gray. Slaps it off the boards, takes a high stick right in the face from the Czechoslovakian player Loida as he went in to get the puck.
Well, here we have the opportunity of Kenny Berry, and he's got a lot of speed. He just broke in. There was a nice wide pass from Paul McLean, which came right across the rink. You see the rebound. Maxwell trying to jam it in. The second save is made, but Kenny Berry, this line of Maxwell, Berry, McLean has been dangerous all day, and they've got lots of speed.
And Ken Berry, really from a sports family. His father, you probably remember from Penticton, played in the World Championship with Penticton, and his cousin is golfer Jim Nelford. And Ken Berry, a native of Vancouver and Burnaby, British Columbia. Canada leading 3-0 here in the second period, and they hold it against the boards. Play getting a little rough there with 10 minutes and 43 seconds left in the second period. Devaney, number 15, member of 2 National Collegiate Championship teams with the University of Alberta. That shot gloved by Kolysak. He plays for Kladno of the first division in Czechoslovakia, and his team is in first place with 35 points. They've won 15, losing only 3 games. That's the Czechoslovakian goalie. 15 seconds left in the penalty to Novak of Czechoslovakia. The Canadian player bringing it out is Devaney. Up on the right side. This is Primo. Can't get a shot away as Lichka checked him. They knock it against the boards, hold it there, and the penalty expires on the whistle.
Well, that was very interesting there. That's an example of how the Czechoslovakian team will chase you when you're shorthanded. They were shorthanded in their own zone. The puck was loose. Devaney was fighting for it in the corner, and there were 3 of the 4 defenders. 3 of the 4 defenders were all in that corner digging for the loose puck when they were shorthanded.
Oh, we have a goaltending change now as we reach almost the midway point of the game. Carl Long comes into the game now for Czechoslovakia. Carl Long in goal now for Czechoslovakia. In behind the net is Lala. Lala, number 21, bumped there by Juriš. Puck goes loose. Dalby's right in front, a loose puck. Shot over the top as Glenn Anderson let that shot go. Around the boards to Lala. Lala is stopped there by Anderson. That shot by Delvise goes wide, and Terry O'Malley has it at center. Back into his own zone for Canada. 9 minutes and 49 seconds remain in the second period. The Canadian Olympic team leading by a score of 3-0. And the puck is held against the boards in the corner. So it's Canada 3, Czechoslovakia 0. And this is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV. 9 minutes and 43 seconds left here in the second period. Maxwell, Nil, and Zupancic have scored for Canada. And it's brought out by Nil. Up on the right side goes Anderson. Stops at the line. The puck rolls over the blue line. And Peary, number 3, fires it right back into his own zone. O'Malley chased there by Yasko. Yasko trying to dump it in front. Gets the puck again, knocked to the ice. Off the boards, Busnak. Back to Loida, shot. That's blocked in front. Loose puck. Stopped there by Brad Peary. And Canada's Jim Nill brings it back. Up over the line, a drive. And Long pulled that in. Stopped there by the Canadian player. Anderson rolls in front. And Delvise just failed to get that. Here's Jimmy Nill, knocked against the boards by Yasko. Czechoslovakia has it at center. Bezak was stopped. Puck brought back in by Anderson. At center. Anderson. Out there now, Lamoureux, number 10, and the puck is stopped at the line. Lamoureux chases it, fires it into the Czechoslovakian zone, and Canada changes on the fly. Loida behind his own net for Czechoslovakia. A pass to Slavik. Slavik coming up with Cherney. And it's stopped at the Canadian line and brought right back by Pearsall. Pearsall trying to get that pass to Lamoureux. Intercepted by Slavik. Off the boards at center and back into the Czechoslovakian zone. And this is Lichka, number 5. Lichka, pass on the left side to František Cherney. Up on the right side at center. Slavik left it there. Cherney over the line, but he couldn't get a shot away. And Canada brings it right back. Zupancic at center. He ran into the Czechoslovakian player, number 22, Cherney. Here's a break now for Pearsall. Pearsall going in, can't get a shot, moves it in front. Lamoureux is tripped, and there will be a penalty to Czechoslovakia as Lamoureux was hauled down by Slavik. With the score, Canada 3, Czechoslovakia 0. Let's pause for a moment.
Here we see Lamoureux just breaking inside, trying to go to the net with the puck, shoves the puck through. Whoops, there's the stick coming under his feet, pulling the feet out from under him. Canada has their opportunity on the power play. And watch this Czechoslovakian team. Watch them chase out of their box zone. They chase you, and you've got to be close to help out your men on the power play.
Maxwell's at center for Canada. The puck goes to Jurich, off the glass and down the ice into the Canadian zone. Peugeot in goal for Canada. And the backup goaltender is Bob Dupuy. Puck slides under the Canadian players in the corner, and we have another whistle. Maxwell, Nil, and Zupancic have scored the goals for the Canadian Olympic team. There's Inachuk, 22-year-old youngster for Czechoslovakia, 6 foot, 182, had quite a game against Nova Scotia Voyageurs in the opening game of this tour for Czechoslovakia. They tied Nova Scotia 5-5 on Sunday. This is Waters, backhands it in behind his own net. Czechoslovakia man short. This is Spring, number 8, trying to get out. Hawley doing a good job of tying him up. The puck got ahead to McLean. Now Ken Berry brings it up. Here's Berry coming up with Maxwell. Lost control of the puck, and it's back to center. Brought in by Spring. Spring going in with Berry, a shot. And Long cleared that into the corner. Backhanded by Inachuk off the boards and down the ice. 1 minute and 5 seconds left in the Czechoslovakian penalty. Up for Berry. Here's Berry, a long shot, broke his stick on the drive. Long covers up. As McLean pumping it up in front with Keichel, a pair of number 17s.
Well, here we have the puck just being shoved ahead. Czechoslovakian team caught right in the middle of the change. Kenny Berry winds up with a shot. We see a stick, the blade of the stick break all at once, and then we see Paul McLean coming in for the rebound there, trying to jam that puck loose from under the Czechoslovakian goaltender. But things like that frustrate you when you break the shot, your stick in the middle of a shot.
Now it's back to Gregg. Off the boards to Primo, trying to get it. Primo has it, number 21 for Canada. Back to Gregg. Over to Primo, and it's intercepted and backhanded down the ice by Loida, number 7 of Czechoslovakia. 39 seconds left in the penalty to Slavic. 6 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the second period. And Canada enjoying a 3-0 lead. It'll be icing here, but the Canadian player got to it first, so it's waved off. Back to the line. Anderson's drive, and that's kicked out by Long. Kept in by Gregg, and then it's fired up by Keuchel. He grabbed the puck. He should get a penalty, and he will.
Well, certainly it was flagrant. I mean, you can't get any more than that. He looked like a center fielder putting the clutch on that pop fly there at that point. But he should have known better. Here we have the puck. Randy Gregg doing a great job to keep it in, but look, obviously he just grabs the puck and tries to throw it out of his own zone. 2 minutes for holding the puck with his hand.
So the Czechoslovakian team, 2 men short now. The penalty to Keuchel.
2 minutes for closing his hand on the puck. The time, 13:57.
And Slavic is still in the penalty box. He has 18 seconds left in his penalty. So Canada now with a 2-man advantage. Claire Drake, Lauren Davis, co-coaches of the team, looking on from behind the bench. Number 15 for Canada, Devaney, and the puck rolls right to the goaltender, Long, and he covers up. We have 5:59 remaining in the second period. This Sunday, we invite you to join CTV Sports for all the action and excitement of the NFL AFC Championship game between Houston and Pittsburgh. That's this Sunday on CTV Sports. Number 15 for Canada is Devaney as we get set. Linesman waiting for the players to get into position. Now we're ready to go. The puck comes back to Gregg. Gregg getting set for Canada. Gregg passes over to Primo. Primo knocked off the puck there by Lichka. Gets it back to Gregg. Gregg getting set. Passed it over to Anderson. Tried to get it back to Primo. Here's Primo in the corner. Czechoslovakia just 1 man short now. Primo back to Gregg. A shot. And he couldn't get a solid drive, and it was knocked away. After it now is Heinmarch. Heinmarch rolls it in front, and it's off the boards and down the ice. 1 minute and 21 seconds left in the penalty to Keuchel of Czechoslovakia. The Canadian player is Randy Gregg. Brings it up to the line, coming in with Primo, tried to fire it across. After it there is Devaney. Devaney with Primo helping out. Knocked off Primo's stick. The Czechoslovakian player dumped it to the line, but not out. That was Slavic. In behind the net, Primo. Knocked in, they score! What a weird goal as it came from behind and eluded the Czechoslovakian goalie.
Well, I want to see the replay of this one because I think what happened, the puck went up, I think, on end as they were going behind the net, and I think it hit the Czechoslovakian goaltender. Here's the puck coming off the glass. It bounces, comes up in the air again. Here we see it. I think the puck just hit the back of the Czechoslovakian goaltender. His leg wasn't strictly against the post and dropped behind him for the 4th Canada goal.
Scored by number 21, Kevin Primo.
Kevin Primo credited with the goal. It's 4-0 for the Canadian Olympic team at 15:03. The time of the goal, unassisted, Kevin Primo. Now it's Hawley for Czechoslovakia to Richter. Richter left it there for Hawley. He was checked, a delayed offside at the Canadian blue line.
Well, Glennie Anderson went down a little hard there. Glennie Anderson is one of the exciting young hockey players on this team. He just turned 19 while the season was on. Started this season at 18, and I can tell you that this man has a lot of talent. He can skate, he can handle the puck. He's exciting to watch.
They tell me he's pretty good with the harmonica, too. 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the second period, and it's 4-0 for the Canadian Olympic team. Cleared around the board, stopped there by Keuchel. Keuchel moved it in front. Hawley couldn't get a shot away. Now he gets a drive. It's knocked down, and it's the Canadian player Anderson getting it up on the left side. Keichel's there first, though, and it goes to Richter. Richter helped out by Inachuk. Off the boards for Hawley. Hawley is all tied up there, can't get it loose, and they finally pin it. And we get another stoppage in play. From Calgary, Stampede Corral. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV. Back in Calgary, Alberta, with the Canadian Olympic team enjoying a 4-0 lead over Czechoslovakia. This is Bernie Pascal with Tom Watt. Play underway, and the puck is lapped off the boards by Don Spring. Long, the Czechoslovakian goalie clears it off. Off at the line. Over to Yuri Lala. Into the corner. After it is Shane Pearsall, knocked against the boards by Lichka. And we have another whistle. And we'll check now on our upcoming intermission features. And here's Mike Adams.
In our second intermission, we'll have team manager Rick Noonan, the man largely responsible for bringing the Olympic team to Calgary, Doug Mitchell, and Tom Watt will be along with the highlights of the second period. Bernie?
Okay, Mike, and the puck is dropped, cleared right in front. Lichka out to the blue line, stopping at it was Novak and the Canadian player Tim Waters. Put it right onto the stick of Sikora. Sikora bumped, and it's fired into the Czechoslovakian zone with 3.5 minutes remaining here in the second period. This slid along the boards into the Canadian zone. Novak is bumped there by Don Spring. At center for Canada, Buchanan fires it in right on goal, and that's stopped by Long, the Czechoslovakian goalie. There'll be a penalty to Pearsall. Pearsall knocks Stanovic right behind the Czechoslovakia net, so he'll go out for a couple of minutes.
Well, he broke in there quickly trying to get to the Czechoslovakian defenseman before he could handle the puck. Here you see him right after him. He gets that stick underneath him, dumps him right against the boards, but trying to do the job before checking, but you can't trip the man. But he was very aggressive on that end, trying to jump on them before they could get started from their own end of the rink.
There's been great support for this Canadian Olympic team here in Calgary. They've just completed a 3-game series with the touring Moscow Dynamo. They won 2 and tied 1 with the Dynamo. And they've been capacity crowds for every game here in Calgary, and it's close to capacity today. And that's amazing considering that the game is also seen on television locally in the Calgary area. Berry, number 19. Off the board, stopped at center ice by Sterback. Got the pass over to Durish. Up on the left side to Bezak. Bezak moving into the Canadian corner. Fires it off the board. Chasing it there is Yasko. Yasko drops it back to Durish. His shot, and that goes wide. Moving up is Sterback. Sterback, number 10. Into the corner to Bezak. Back to Sterback. Sterback over to Durish. A drive. Off the boards in behind the net. Goes after the puck. It's knocked off the board. Sterback moves in, kicks the puck loose. Now it's pinned there, and we get a whistle. With 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining in the Team Canada penalty to Shane Pearsall.
Well, I want to tell you, Canadians always have the name that they have to play the rough and nasty role in international hockey. But I'll tell you, there are a few high sticks and elbows being thrown here by another international team from Czechoslovakia today, because Warren Anderson almost had his head taken off coming around that net with a high stick, but there was no penalty on that. But we have a bad rap sometimes that it's only the Canadians that are nasty in international play, but that's not true. A lot of these other teams can be more than nasty when they take their mind to it.
Inachuk, number 9 for Czechoslovakia. Now the Canadian team, well, they were going to make a player move, and now they decide not to. So we're set to go, and the official trying to get Heinmarsh and Sikora back. Puck is dropped. It's cleared off the board. Chasing it there is Richter. Richter lost it to Primo. Primo, number 21, then couldn't control the loose puck along the boards, and Terry O'Malley tries to backhand it out. Came right in front of the Canadian goal, and it's shot down the ice with 2 minutes left here in the second period. Loida lost the puck in his own zone, but helping out is Inachuk. Inachuk, number 9 for Czechoslovakia. Up on the left side, the pass to Hawley. Back to Inachuk. Inachuk up over the line, tried to get it back to Hawley, and it came outside the blue line. Canada leading by a score of 4-0. This is Hawley at center. Hawley overskated the puck. Loida shoots it in, and Terry O'Malley has it for Canada. Backhands it down the ice with 12 seconds left in the penalty to Pearsall. This is Hawley. Number 24 in his own zone for Czechoslovakia. Lost the puck. Stolen by Devaney, but he couldn't get a shot away. Lichka pinned against the boards by Devaney. Pearsall's back on the ice. Canada's at full strength. On the right side, this is Novak. And we have a whistle with 1 minute and 4 seconds left. Offside at the Czechoslovakian line on the delayed call.
Well, you know, Paul Peugeot, this is only the second game of this series we're playing in Calgary, the 6-game series, 3 with Dynamo and 3 with the Czechoslovakian team. And this is the end of 5 periods, and he's only had 1 goal scored against him. Only 1 with Dynamo the other night, and he shut the Czechoslovakian team out here for all but 1 minute and 4 seconds of the second period. So he's been outstanding, and that's the type of goaltending that you need when you play these games, and it gives the team a lot of confidence to play the type of hockey game that they want.
And Tom, the backup goaltender tonight is Bob Dupuis, and the third member of the goaltending brigade is Patterson from the University of BC, and you have been getting great goaltending in games up to this point. Well, Czechoslovakia, too many men on the ice. That's the call, and it'll be served by Novak. Now here's the Canadian player Anderson in behind the net, trying to get it in front to Delvies, and he was checked. 49 seconds left in the second period. The puck is backhanded, but not up. Kept in. Anderson in front, goes after the loose puck, takes it behind the net to Delvies, right in front. That backhand shot by Nil. Oh, and that just missed. Anderson trying to get a shot in front. Anderson around the board, stopped there by Spring. In behind the net, Delvies. And the Czechoslovakian player Sikora shoots it down the ice. 21 seconds left in the second period. Peugeot, the Canadian goalkeeper, sends it over to the far side. Here's a break at center. Canadian team offside as Anderson was over the line and was brought in by Delvies.
Well, one of the good things that we've been doing, not just on the power play, but controlling the puck in their own zone, we haven't been throwing it wild in front of the net. Here we see the puck all around the net. Anderson takes that original shot, comes loose again, but we don't throw that puck away here. Look, trying to come out and jam it in. We have all kinds of time here. How did this puck ever stay out? Nil couldn't get the backhand, turns around, shoots. It goes up, over again. Anderson's still coming. We keep that puck in deep. We don't throw it away. Don't throw it blind in front of the net. A lot of action around the Czechoslovakian goal.
This is Sterback off the boards, down the ice into the Canadian zone. Tim Waters, number 5. 1 second as the siren goes to end the second period of play. And 57 seconds remain in the Czechoslovakian team penalty, being served by Novak. So the score at the end of the second period, Canada 4 and Czechoslovakia nothing. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV.
Period for the Canadian Olympic team as they outscored the Czechs 3-0 in that period, and they lead 4-0 after 40 minutes of play. And Canada, as they have been doing recently, playing in Calgary, doing extremely well and winning a lot of face-offs. And I think the key is winning face-offs. Jimmy Nill's goal was a perfect example. Jimmy Nill opened the scoring in that first period at 1:10 from Dan Delvies. Delvies won the draw, and Nill had the goal before goaltender even knew what was happening. Stelio Zupancic got the second goal of the period for Canada at 6:19. Tim Waters and Don Spring on the assist, and Kevin Primo rounded out the scoring in the second period at 15:03. It was a power play goal, but a somewhat tainted goal, a strange goal coming off the backboards and hitting the goaltender behind the leg and bouncing into the net. It was unassisted, and the Czechs teams did change goaltenders in that second period. About the midway point of the period, came in for the Czechs, as the Czechs are really treating this as an exhibition game, giving everybody a chance to play. So again, the score at the end of 2 periods of play is Canada 4 and the Czechs nothing. As far as penalties went in the period, 4 to the Czechs, 1 to Team Canada, and all of the minor variety. Well, joining us now in the second intermission is team manager of the Canadian team, Rick Noonan. And Rick, I know you haven't always been the team manager. You began as trainer.
Yes, back when I was at St. Michael's High School with Father Bauer in Toronto, I wasn't fortunate enough or didn't have the talent to make the teams there, and served as trainer of our old national team program, and also did a lot of the business work of that program, and worked with our various Team Canadas with the professional teams in that capacity also.
Obviously, a lot more pressure managing than training a team.
Well, it's a greater challenge, and I consider myself very fortunate that the people in Hockey Canada and the people here in Calgary, the Calgary Olympic Committee, have given me this chance to answer the challenge, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, Rick, we talked about the players on the team. Let's talk. Canada was in an Olympic series was in 1968, so it was almost 10 years to the month after the Olympic Games that the new team was revived. You were in on those revival meetings. Do you go into those with a lot of apprehension?
Well, if you're meaning the old national team back in '64, the very first Olympic team, we didn't have much to work with in those days. In fact, this coming January the 5th in Vancouver, we're playing a nostalgia game because the rink at UBC in Vancouver was built for the original Olympic team, and we're going back there, and we're looking forward to that. Also, we didn't have the funding, or we didn't have the cooperation of getting the type of games that we've had here. And our budget is in excess of $750,000, and only about a third of that budget comes from our government grant. The other 2/3 has been generated by the excellent fan support here in Calgary and from private sponsorship. And so we're far more fortunate here in Calgary than we were back in Vancouver in those days, in that the fans have just supported us tremendously. The Calgary Olympic Hockey Committee have done a tremendous job in generating this fan support, which gives us, well, over 2/3 of our $750,000 budget.
Okay, Rick, everything, of course, points to the Winter Olympics next month in Lake Placid. What happens to the Canadian team after the Games?
Well, I think we're going to maybe take a long holiday, but we're probably going to keep the team together, and we have been invited to participate in a tournament in Sweden. It's a substitute for the World Tournament. They're back to the format this year, whereas the Olympics will serve as the championship for both the Olympics and the World Championship. Sweden is hosting the World Championships next year, therefore would like to have an invitational tournament along these lines this coming April, and they've invited us to attend to that.
Okay, Rick, thank you very much. Rick Noonan, team manager of the Canadian Olympic team. Coming up next, Doug Mitchell, one of the driving forces behind bringing the team to Calgary. CTV's coverage of pre-Olympic international hockey returns in a moment. It has certainly been a big undertaking to bring the national team, the Olympic team, to Calgary, as it was revived back in '78, as we heard Rick Noonan mention. And the man largely responsible for that, the head of the committee, the chairman of the committee, is a Calgary lawyer, Doug Mitchell. And Doug, what is that committee comprised of?
Well, Mike, basically it's made up of 12 businessmen here in the city of Calgary. Basically, they had an interest in sports, some of them not particularly hockey, but all of them felt that Calgary was a great sports city and would support the Canadian national team if it made its home base here in Calgary.
Now, it did make its home base here in Calgary, Doug, but what options were open to the team?
Well, at one time, originally when we contacted Father Bauer and the Olympic Hockey Committee, they were considering Ontario as a home base. In fact, I think originally it was scheduled to go to Ontario, but the offer that we came up with, the discussions and negotiations that we had, convinced them that Calgary would make a great home for the national team.
Yeah, I would imagine those discussions did convince them, Doug, but you know the WHA Cowboys, the World Hockey Association team, failed miserably here in Calgary. They were here for a couple of years and they went down the drain. Ostensibly, hockey was dead when the Cowboys left. What made your committee decide that perhaps hockey wasn't dead?
Well, I think, Mike, we didn't necessarily agree with the way in which hockey was merchandised or promoted in Calgary. I was a native Calgarian, felt that Calgary was a great sports city. The demise of the Cowboys didn't discourage us one bit. In fact, if you look at the attendance, we've had 10 home games this season for the Olympic team. We're averaging 6,000 people. Capacity is 6,400, so we're running about 95% capacity.
Has it been a tough road to hoe to market this team?
Not at all. It's a great sports city, and the people have just taken the team into their own. They've accepted them as Calgary's team, and I think it's not only been good for Calgary, but I think it's good for Canada to see players from all across Canada making their home in Calgary. The support that it's been getting in Calgary has just been tremendous, and I think people across Canada, when they see how the team's been supported, the community's got behind it, I think that's a great thing for Canada as well.
I think there was a great concern, Doug, that when the team came here that it might kill junior hockey, but I think all teams have managed to gel as the Olympics have been here.
Yeah, Calgary needed something to revive the interest in hockey. It was here. It was a question of how it was going to be revived, and the Olympic team coming to Calgary sort of got people back into this building that hadn't been here for 20 years and got interested in hockey again, and now this community is talking hockey.
Is the committee concerned about what happens to the team after the Lake Placid Games?
Mike, we've been in negotiations and discussions for several months now as to what's going to happen. We're firmly convinced that this will be the home of Canada's Olympic hockey team until 1988, when hopefully Calgary will get the Winter Olympic bid.
Okay, Doug, thank you very much. Doug Mitchell, the chairman of the committee that brought this Olympic team to the city of Calgary. Tom Watt is next with his highlights of the second period. And from Calgary Stampede Corral, CTV's Olympic hockey will continue in a moment. Tom, as far as highlights are concerned.
Well, yes, certainly. I think one of the things that Danny Delvise does well for our hockey team is that he controls the draw. He's our best draw man. He's been around 70% all season. And the first goal that we have to show you, it's very clean. He draws it right from the face-off back to Jimmy Nill. And see how Jimmy Nill is playing back a little so he doesn't get tied up with the Czechoslovakian defenders. Shoots it all in one motion. And those are the goals that you like to get. They're a little easy and so on, but if you control that puck from the face-off, you're going to do well in the hockey game.
Paul Pajot still doing well.
Well, 5 periods, only 1 goal against. He's played well consistently for us in the games that he's appeared in. Now, the second goal that we have to show you here, one of the things you see on the left side of your screen, you see Stelios Apancic coming all the way from the left side, and we're trying to emphasize with our forwards that they're not just left wingers or right wingers. They can break in behind. He's got time in front of Keuchel to wind up and shoot the puck, and he has got a good shot, and that was the second goal of the period for us to go ahead 3-0. Stelio has got a good shot.
The Czechs changed goaltenders. That affect your plans?
No, it didn't affect our plans. I think 5 minutes after we changed, that's when we had the third goal in the power play. Our power play hasn't been all that good today, but we'll take a goal like this. Maybe Lang coming in late. You see the puck coming from the point, hits the glass. Kevin Primo hustles around behind the net, dumps it in front, and Lang, you see his skate coming over. He's a little late bringing it over, and what happens is the puck hits his skate from Primo, trying to dump it out from behind the net, and it goes in behind him. But Lang had only been in the net for 5 minutes at that point.
Okay, Tom, 20 minutes left in this game, and with the score Canada 4 and the Czechs nothing, we'll return with the third period in a moment. You await the start of the third and final period with the Canadian Olympic team leading 4-0. Carl Long in goal for Czechoslovakia, and Paul Pajot, who's been outstanding, in goal for the Canadian Olympic team. And the third period is underway. Czechoslovakia starting the third with a man short. Still in the penalty box is Novak, serving that penalty for too many men on the ice that occurred late in the second period. At center, Maxwell clears it in. After the puck, there is McLean trying to get it in front. Here's a chance now for Spring, a shot, and it's blocked and brought right back by Inachuk. Inachuk going in with Sikora. Sikora into the corner, in behind the net, trying to get it back. It's at the blue line. Stanovic's shot. It's blocked and trying to drive over the top of the net as Hawley let that go. Brought out by the Canadian player McLean. Straight up the middle. McLean over to Barry, and the goaltender came away out to shoot the puck to the line, and we have an injured Czechoslovakia player as he was hit right at the side of the net. Getting up slowly, and he appears to be all right. Tim Waters, number 5 for Canada, heading off as we have 8 seconds left in the Czechoslovakian penalty. Scoring in the game for Canada, Maxwell, Dill, Zupancic, and Primo. After the puck now for Canada, Primo number 21, couldn't catch up to it. Devaney, number 15, to Primo. Over the line now goes Heinmarsh, right in front, it scores! Heinmarsh! And it's 5-0 for Canada. Spectacular goal by Heinmarsh.
Well, that's what we love to see from our forwards. He just cuts around the Czechoslovakian defender. Here we see the tip by Kevin Primo, and watch him. He's got one thing in his mind. He's going to the net. He's a big, strong fella. He just goes right through, bulls himself around the defenseman, the goaltender out sprawling. The puck is just tucked underneath him, but a good play by David Heinmarsh, and that's what we like. You know, the European defenders, usually the man doesn't go around. They like to do a little spinorama and throw it to somebody else coming late.
Time of the goal, 1 minute and 1 second here in the third period. It's 5-0 for Canada. Rusnak gets the puck at center to Bezak. Bezak slipped and fell. Here's a chance now for Heinmarsh. Into the corner. Knocked off stride momentarily by Loida. The puck comes around the boards and brought out by Rusnak. Rusnak of Czechoslovakia up over the Canadian line. In behind the net, lost control of the puck, and there's a penalty coming up, a delayed call, handed out by referee Jim Beckman. Well, he's indicating a high stick.
Well, Dave Hindmarsh picks up the penalty. Well, that isn't the penalty call. That was late. It could have possibly been the second penalty. That was Kevin Primo pulling down the Czechoslovakian defender, but the original infraction was Dave Hindmarsh in the offensive zone at the far end, checking very aggressively after his goal.
The last Canadian goal scored by Hindmarsh from Primo and Devaney at 1:01 of this third period. Canada man short. Richter for Czechoslovakia. Gets it back to the line. Lichka has trouble with it. Sends it over now to Stanovic. Stanovic into the corner. Tried to get it to Richter. He slipped and fell. Richter moves it in front. There's a shot, and that stopped as Hawley let it go. Another drive misses the net. Cleared to the line, but not out. Stanovic. Pass it over to Richter. Richter back to Stanovic. Stanovic shot, hit a skate in front and goes wide. Hawley, number 24, gives it to Lichka. Here's a chance, Stanovic, and he shot away wide, trying to get the deflection. Hawley back to Lichka. A drive and a glove save, the rebound, and it goes wide off the stick of Inachuk. And the Canadian team fires it down the ice with 1 minute and 5 seconds left in the penalty to Dave Hindmarsh of the Canadian Olympic team. One goal here in the third period, scored by Hindmarsh. Czechoslovakia trailing 5-0 on the power play. That puck went right to the Canadian player, Tim Waters. He backhanded it, but it was called on the offside.
Well, you see, when that Czechoslovakian team can get that puck over your blue line and get time to operate, they're pretty dangerous. They control it well, but what you have to do is what we did in the last few seconds of the penalty there. Do a good job forechecking, delay them, keep them in their own zone. Don't let them gain your blue line. And when you do that, you can keep them away from gaining the blue line with possession of the puck. You're going to do all right in killing those penalties.
Here's Sikora now, number 14 for Czechoslovakia. Drops it over to Sterbach. Now back to Sikora. Sikora at center. Coming up to the Canadian line. Sikora passes it over. Rolled off the stick of Novak. Puck is loose. Calling for a pass to Sterbach. They score on the shot that eludes goaltender Pajot. Well, I thought maybe they would pass it back to Sterbach. He was calling for it. Maybe that distracted the Canadian goalie.
Well, here we see Zupancic battling, and he goes down at the side of the net. It forces Pearsall to come all the way from the far side. There is nobody to put pressure on the man shooting the puck from the point, and it beats Pajot cleanly from the point. It didn't seem to deflect off anybody, but he had time to shoot it.
That'll likely be Loida all the way, scoring the first goal of the game for Czechoslovakia. And it's now 4-1. Back over the line. This is Rusnak. Into the corner. Stop there. Well, they fed it to the goal to Juric. There's a shot by Keuchel, and that goes wide. Off the boards at center. The goal for Czechoslovakia given to Juric. That shot, Pajot stopped that. Leaves it for Don Spring. Spring is checked. Cleared up off the board. Lamoureux trying to get a lead pass up there for Pearsall, just failed to click. Lamoureux has it. He's tripped at center by Rusnak. And Rusnak been called for tripping. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV.
Here we have Juris getting ready for his shot on the first Czechoslovakian goal. You see Canada tied up against the boards, beats Pajot on the short side. Maybe misjudged his angle a little bit there as it came clean from the point, but the Czechoslovakian player had time to shoot that puck on the power play.
And Rusnak is in the penalty box for tripping at 3:48. The Canadian Olympic team on the power play, leading 5-1. Puck slapped to the blue line and out to center. Brought out by number 9, Inachuk. Inachuk got a shot, and it goes off defenseman Warren Anderson. Pinned against the boards. Anderson knocked it loose. Goes to Paul McLean, the native of Antigonish, Nova Scotia. McLean drops it back to Warren Anderson. Anderson behind his own net. 1 minute and 23 seconds left in the Czechoslovakian penalty. Now it's brought in by Holy. Holy got to the line, stopped. Puck comes over to number 6, Stanovich, and fires it back into his own zone to Lichka, number 5. Lichka off the boards and down the ice. Backboard for Canada, Randy Gregg, number 4. Lost the puck there to Novak. Then Novak is knocked against the boards by Warren Anderson, and Canada's Kevin Maxwell brings it out to Gregg. Pass on the left side to McLean. McLean puts on the brakes. McLean in the corner, setting it up, back to Maxwell. Maxwell to Gregg. Gregg getting set, fakes a shot to Maxwell. Back to the line, into the corner. Peary calling for it. Peary has it, number 3. Peary trying to get it over, does. Into the corner to Maxwell. Maxwell drops it back to Peary. Peary trying to fire it into the corner. It was stopped there and cleared outside the line. 23 seconds left in the Czechoslovakian penalty, and the puck is fired up over the glass.
Well, the Czechoslovakian team has done a very good job in killing their penalties today. The only power play goal that Canada has had was Primo's goal from behind the net when Lang failed to jam his skate against the post. But they come at you all the time when they're short. It doesn't matter what zone they're in. They chase out of their box. They forecheck you very hard. They don't give you time to handle that puck, and you've got to be very alert, probably more alert when you've got the man advantage than at even sides. A lot of pressure.
It's an early birthday present, that goal by Primo. He'll be 24 on January 3rd. And he scored the 4th Canadian goal. Heinmarsh got the 5th. And Juric has scored here in the 3rd period for Czechoslovakia. Loida at center. 1 second remaining in the penalty, and Czechoslovakia has successfully killed off that penalty. Off the boards and down the ice into the Canadian zone. A race for it. Look at the speed there by Rusnak, but the Canadian player Peary got to it first, and it's icing. With the score, Canada 5 and Czechoslovakia 1. Let's pause for a moment. Welcome back to the Stampede Corral in Calgary, Alberta. This is Bernie Pascal, along with Tom Watt and Mike Adams. The Olympic team of Canada leading Czechoslovakia's national B team 5-1. Many of these Czechoslovakia players will be at the Lake Placid Olympics representing their country. Here's a break now for Richter. But he's stopped as he got inside the line. Moving up is Lichka. He lost it. Coming out now for Canada is Devaney. Devaney moving up with Primo right in front. And a great save by the goalie, Carl Long. And we have a penalty. Hooking.
Well, again, here we have the opportunity. The penalty has already been called, but Devaney is coming 2-on-1. The same type, Kevin Primo stops it, goes off the stick. Czechoslovakian goaltender Lang making a good stop. But again, that 2-on-1 was created, just like in Maxwell's first goal of the hockey game, by the Czechoslovakian defenseman pinching down on his own blue line, the puck getting by him and no one covering him up.
Well, Carl Holy, the penalized player, number 24, with 13 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. In that 2nd period, Canada outshot Czechoslovakia 17-5. And in the game, they hold an edge of 28-23 in total shots. Back into the corner. Comes back to the line and goes out to center ice, and the Canadian player is Waters after it. Waters, number 5, bringing it back into the Czechoslovakian zone. Got it in front there for Dalviz, and he lost it. Richter at center ice. Dragging the puck for Czechoslovakia. Tried to send it over, gets it again, he's hooked. And there'll be a penalty to Dalviz for hooking Richter. So that nullifies the power play situation.
Well, here we have the penalty. The puck, Richter doing a great job. Whoops. Grabbing him there, a high stick, and in fact, there could have been a 5-minute penalty called at that point with the stick being so high. But Richter doing a good job of riding that puck in the neutral zone, and I'm impressed with the way Czechoslovakia has killed their penalties today.
12 minutes and 51 seconds left in the game. 5-1 for Canada over Czechoslovakia. This is Novak behind his own goal. Novak trying to get the pass. It's intercepted by Glenn Anderson. And it's outside the line, cleared back in. Anderson's caught in there, delayed offside, but the Czechoslovakian player gets it out. Number 14 is Sikora. He has it now at center. Goes back inside his own blue line. 49 seconds remaining in the Czechoslovakian penalty. A minute 25 remaining in the Canadian penalty. Now the puck is cleared up on the right side. Here's Novak going in on goal. Novak is knocked against the board. In behind goes Sikora, slipped and fell, and Waters has it for Canada. Waters backhands it over. Nill stops at center. Jimmy Nill, number 12 for Canada, who scored the second goal of the game today. Nill gives it back to Waters. 14 seconds left in the Czechoslovakian penalty and 51 seconds left in the Canadian penalty. Here's Anderson over the line trying to get it to Zupancic. And the Czechoslovakia player Novak. He's knocked to the ice. And there'll be a penalty coming up to Canada. As Novak was knocked heavily to the ice, a delayed call. Czechoslovakia with the puck, it's over the line, and it's offside, and it's called. And we'll have a penalty and a face-off. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV.
Second penalty, Canada 2 men short at this point. A high-sticking call. He took the Czechoslovakian defender almost into the box in front of the net. Czechoslovakian team ragging the puck, trying to get the goaltender out to take advantage of that delayed penalty. But Zupancic, the second Canadian, in the box.
In case you're wondering why the face-off was at center ice, the official admitted that he blew the whistle for no apparent reason, so they dropped the puck at center. There was a penalty, but it was a delayed call. There's a shot deflected just wide by Stanovic. Back now to Lichka. Over to Stanovic. Stanovic right in front. And Anderson of Canada shoots it down the ice. Canada just one man short. A minute and 33 seconds remaining in the penalty to Zupancic. Over the line. This is Stanovic. Back to number 6. And it's shot off his stick right back into the Czechoslovakian zone with 10.5 minutes remaining in the third period. And Canada leads by a score of 5-1. Canada, though, a man short. Czechoslovakia on the power play. The pass goes to Inachuk. Inachuk into the corner. Puts on the brakes. Gets it back now to Lola. Lola over to Stanovic. A shot. And Peugeot stopped that. And it's clear to the line, but not out. Into the corner. Another drive and stopped on the short side. They hammer away, and it goes right through the crease. Lola. He's hooked and knocked to the ice. No penalty there, though. It stopped at the line. Sterbach off the boards. Inachuk back to Sterbach. Sterbach sends the puck over to Lichka. Lichka into the corner. Novak knocked against the boards by Tim Waters. And down the ice it goes with 24 seconds left in the Canadian penalty. 9 minutes and 41 seconds left in the third period. The Canadian Olympic team playing Czechoslovakia. Here's a break now for Sikora, moving in front. But 3 Canadian players got back quickly to stop him. Sterbach lets a shot go. Peugeot stopped that. Off the boards, Lola for Czechoslovakia. Into the corner, Canada's back at full strength. There's a drive up over the top of the net. And it's cleared into the corner. Number 17 for Canada, Paul McLean pins it there. And we have another face-off.
There we see Paul McLean, and he was trying to get that puck out of his own zone, and instead of throwing it up on the glass, and we're on them all the time to throw that puck out on the glass, puck is kept in. But here we see the Czechoslovakian team, the 2 opportunities, the good shot, bouncing right over top of Peugeot, and he lost the puck. Could have just as easily dropped in behind him and went behind the net.
Scoring in the game for Canada, Maxwell, Nill, Zupancic, Primo, and Hindmarsh. Jurich has scored the lone goal for Czechoslovakia. This is Kevin Primo. Primo bringing it out to center, tried to get the pass to Dave Hindmarsh, gets the puck again, Primo. Number 21 right in front, it's knocked off his stick, there's a shot, and it's blocked. And it's over to the far side, Darius Rusnak. Rusnak got the pass to Cherney. Cherney, bumped by Brad Peary, and Canada has it again. Pearsall brings it up to the Czechoslovakian line to Primo. Slaps it off the boards into the corner. Hindmarsh, number 20, goes after it. And it's brought out by Cherney. Cherney, a pass on the right side. Rusnak and they all move in there and hold the puck. Just a reminder that immediately following this game, CTV Sports will take you to Southern California for the first of a Super College Bowl doubleheader. Southern Cal takes on Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, followed by Florida State meeting Oklahoma at the Orange Bowl. Here we have 8 minutes and 24 seconds left in the third period. Right out by the Canadian player, Nil. Number 12, up to the Czechoslovakian line, dropped it back, gets the return pass. Nil then tried to drop it back to Glenn Anderson, and it's cleared out to center over 2 lines, and it's an offside pass as it was grabbed by Pavel Richter, number 8.
Well, Pavel Richter, he's been doing a good job all day. He's a very impressive stick handler, and on that last penalty when Delvis hooked him there, he was killing that penalty very, very well, controlling the puck, moving in and out, showing some excellent moves.
Canada has outshot Czechoslovakia 29-26 in the game with 8 minutes and 8 seconds left. Warren Anderson, number 2 for Canada, to Randy Gregg. Gregg, the captain. A lead pass there for number 9, Glenn Anderson, offside, as Jim Nill was caught inside the blue line.
Well, that was pretty close. In fact, I don't think he was caught in. Jimmy Nill is cut, by the way, on the mouth, but he's staying out on that ice. I don't know whether the trainer has seen it or not, but he's cut on the mouth. But they were moving there, and he tried to keep a skate on the line to avoid the offside.
Number 9 for Czechoslovakia, that's Inachak. Puck comes over on the right wing side. It's brought out by Lichka. Shot it in as he took a bump. Puck loose at the side. Inachak tries to get the puck loose. Pinned there by Anderson. Still fighting for possession. Stopped momentarily, but he's helped out. The puck rolls along the boards, and it's cleared out to center. And we have a penalty being handed out here by referee Jim Beckman. And Richter is very upset, as is Frantisek Cherney. And Cherney's getting the penalty. From Calgary Stampede Corral, this is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV. Czechoslovakian player Cherney is in the penalty box with 7:36 remaining in the game. The Canadian Olympic team leading by a score of 5-1. This is Anderson. Anderson in the corner trying to get it back to Delvis. Anderson still has it. Anderson with Spring. Spring takes the pass right in front. And a good save there by Long, the goaltender. And it's shot right back into the Canadian zone. Number 5 for Canada, Tim Waters, the native of Kamloops, British Columbia. Here's Waters, overskated the puck, goes back. Novak watching him. Novak moving in. Now the pass comes back to Waters. Waters straight up the middle for Canada. Going in with Glenn Anderson. Tried to get it in front. Here's Anderson getting set. A shot blocked there by defenseman Jurish.
Well, you see a little bit of frustration on the part of Glennie Anderson. They controlled the puck. That was where he scored a goal from the other night, just in that exact spot. The puck came across, and he let it go all in one motion. Today, he just tried to hold up, hoped that the Czechoslovakian defender would go by him, but he slid right into the puck and blocked the shot. Good defensive play. Glennie just holding on to it a little longer so he'd get the real good opportunity.
Canadian Olympic team will play Czechoslovakia again here on January 3rd at the Stampede Corral. For you people in the Alberta area, they'll be here January 3rd and January 4th. 6 minutes and 54 seconds remain in the third period. And many of the spectators with banners, and they had a banner contest today. And 4 youngsters won $100 each for coming up with the impressive design of banners. And that's a good way to start off the new year. $100 richer for 4 youngsters from the Calgary area. Puck shot down the ice. Pajot, the Canadian goalkeeper, left it there. Lamoureux moves in, but the puck stays back in behind the net. John Spring leading a rush over to Tim Waters. He fires it into the Czechoslovakian zone. Canadian player Shane Pearsall went back in after it. Here's Waters getting set, a shot, and that's deflected off the stick of the goaltender Long. Canadian player gets it back. Hill right in front, deflected just wide. This is Pearsall going after it. Left it there for Spring. Spring to Pearsall. Pearsall, number 16, gets it over to Waters. Right in front, a loose puck. They slam away, and it's cleared out to center. And back into the Canadian zone. Spring, number 8. Brings it right back for Canada. Up on the left side to Lamberoux. Lamberoux stops. Passes on the right side to Zupancic. Zupancic lets it roll into the corner. Lamberoux goes after it. He's hauled down. The puck goes loose. Wojda, the Czechoslovakian player, trying to get a whistle, and he succeeds. With 5:31 remaining in the third period.
Just another reminder to season ticket holders, your tickets for the next 4 games, the last 4 home games of the Olympic team, must be
Canada leading by a score of 5-1, and January 5th on CTV's Wide World of Sports, the 4th Pan-Pacific Synchronized Swimming Championships will be seen. Also on that day, the Pro Ice Spectacular, featuring some of the world's best pro figure skaters. That's January 5th on CTV's Wide World of Sports. Two teams at full strength, ready to drop the puck now. Number 9 for Czechoslovakia, Inacek. Goes in behind the Czechoslovakia net, rolls along the boards to Richter. He left it there, helped out by Stanovic. Now Richter gets it again, drops it behind the net to Lichka. Lichka off the boards and down the ice. And Terry O'Malley goes back for it for Canada. And it's icing once again against Czechoslovakia.
Well, one of the things, Bernie, that I've been very pleased at, being one of the coaches and so on, is the type of balance that our hockey club has shown today. You know, we've had goals from 3 of the forward lines, from Devaney's group, we've had it from Delvise's group, and we've had it from Maxwell's group. And when all the lines are starting to produce for you, that's when you've got a healthy hockey club.
One has to be impressed with the performance of the Canadian Olympic team. They've really looked sharp here today, as they have in most of their games this season. They won 2 of 3 games from Moscow Dynamo recently. And in preseason competition, they had victories over several NHL teams, including the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, I hope we get a chance to see this penalty, because here's what happens when a team gets frustrated. Watch Kevin Maxwell here moving in front of the net to get the lay. Here we have the hook just around the under the arm, just pulling him right down at this point. Right there, just pulling him right around and down. Kevin Maxwell a little bit hurt on that play as he was pulled down. But that's the type of thing that usually Canadians would try. They say late in the game when you're down, oh, all the Canadians do is rough you up at that point. But hey, some of these other clubs will do the same thing to you.
Lichka in the penalty box for Czechoslovakia. Puck is cleared but not out. This is Anderson, number 2, getting set. Anderson passes it into McLean, rolls it in front, and it was stopped. McLean trying to get it again. Comes back to Warren Anderson. Warren Anderson over to Randy Gregg, a drive. And that was off the target, and McLean deflected it, but just wide. Now coming back for Czechoslovakia. Novak got to center, and he was hauled down there by Paul McLean. A delayed penalty coming up. New Canada. Sikora into the corner. Knocked against the boards by McLean. And now the hooking infraction against McLean of Canada. From Calgary, Stampede Corral. This is pre-Olympic international hockey on CTV. And we're back in Calgary, and we have a double penalty handed out there to McLean. The initial penalty was for hooking, and then just before the whistle, he was penalized for roughing. So McLean gets 4 minutes. And Czechoslovakia still has a man in the penalty box, as Jurish has 1:18 left in his minor. In behind the net, Rusnak let the puck go. Up on the left side goes Cherney. Rusnak was really upset, and he lost his stick and his helmet. Here comes Canada. Shane Pearsall, lead pass to Barry. Oh, and he shot wide. Wojda got the puck ahead to Cherney. Cherney for Czechoslovakia. Into the corner. Randy Gregg pushing him off the puck. And it looked like Cherney didn't want anything to do with the Canadian player. He's up again. Cherney let the puck go to Inacek. Inacek is hauled down. Randy Gregg has the puck. Gregg for Canada. There'll be another penalty to Team Canada with 3:37 remaining in the third period. And Canada running into a few penalties now.
Well, here we see the Czechoslovakian player, Warren Anderson, was beaten a little bit. There could have been a penalty called here, but it wasn't on this play. It comes a little later in front of the net for Randy Gregg fighting for the puck. Here we see Shane Pearsall in front of the net, just getting his stick around the Czechoslovakian player and pulling him down. And he's going off. So 2 men short at this point, 1 man short for the Czechoslovakian team.
Pearsall in the penalty box. Pearsall, who played junior in Ottawa. His home is Barrie, Ontario. Paul Pajot, the goal from Shawinigan Falls, an overage junior. He's been playing in Shawinigan Falls this year. Just recently joined Team Canada. The backup goalie is Bob Dupuy for this game. Patterson is the other member of the goaltending staff on the Canadian Olympic team. Here's Keuchel. Got the puck over the shot, deflected up over the glass, and out of play. Now, to give you an idea of the penalty situation, McLean has 2:57 left in his double minor. Pearsall has 1:44, and Jurish of Czechoslovakia has 25 seconds left in his penalty. Inachuk gets the puck back to Keuchel. Over now, back to Keuchel, a shot, and it's deflected just wide. Keuchel, number 17 for Czechoslovakia. Sterback on the other point. There's a shot that whistles wide. Sterback, number 10 for Czechoslovakia, to Keuchel, lets it go, and that's wide. Inachuk in the corner. Back to Sterback. Sterback to Keuchel, another shot, and that's blocked in front. Czechoslovakia back at full strength. Canada still 2 men short. In behind the net, Inachuk. Inachuk deflects it in front and went off the stick of goaltender Pajot. Here's a chance now for number 10, Sterback. A shot hit a skate and just goes wide. 2 minutes and 41 seconds left in the third period. Canada leads 5-1. Spring off the boards. It's stopped there by Jurish. Into the corner. Jurish gets it back, a shot, and that was away wide. Hit the referee, Jim Beckman, and went up over the glass and out of play.
Well, the referee's part of the apparatus here. It still counts if it hits him and goes off. Canada doing a good job here. 2 men short. David Hindmarsh doing an excellent job hustling both those points when you're playing the triangle and 2 short. Timmy Waters and Donnie Spring at the bottom there clearing people out. And Pajot coming out, working from the point, the Czechoslovakian team, when they're a 2-man advantage. Pajot coming way out of that net to take that shot away from the point, so there isn't much to shoot at. The 2 defenders in deep, clearing out those men who are standing around off the side of the net.
And the Olympic team manager, Rick Noonan, asks us to remind all the hockey fans in the Vancouver area that this Saturday, January 5th, at 8 in the evening at the UBC Winter Sports Center, a combined UBC and University of Saskatchewan team featuring the UBC Thunderbirds will play the Canadian Olympic team. The UBC rink built for the original 1964 Olympic team. And Canada's Olympic team for 1980 looking forward to returning to the birthplace of the first national Olympic team at UBC. And that game will be at UBC this coming Saturday night. Czechoslovakia with a 2-man advantage. The puck comes to Jurish. Jurish feeds it into the corner. Novak back to Jurish. Jurish fakes a shot, gets it over. Stoyback back to Jurish, a shot. That goes wide. Lola. Back over to Jurish, a drive, and that missed by about 2 feet. Boy, they've been off target on those point shots. Jurish will get another shot. Went off the edge of the stick, another drive. Now he gets it over. Stoyback stopped that, and it was blocked by Terry O'Malley. Into the corner goes Lola. Canada still 2 men short. Lola moving in front. Back to Sterback, a drive in front, and Pajot covers up.
Well, what a job Pajot is doing here. All those shots coming from the point. Here we see the puck going loose again. Watch Canada's defenders, the 2 defensemen, O'Malley and Peary, doing a good job tying people up, so that second shot isn't there now. Pajot making the stop on the original shot from the point. But the 2 defenders also giving Pajot lots of support there, clearing out in front of the net. He's coming out to challenge those shooters. 1 goal against in this game, 1 goal against in the other game he played against Dynamo. I think he's been outstanding in the 2 games we've seen him in this series.
8 seconds remaining in the penalty to Pearsall. 1:13 left in the other penalty. Here's Keuchel. Keuchel sends the puck over to Jurish. Now Canada's just 1 man short. Keuchel getting set, fires it in, it's blocked, and shot down the ice by Shane Pearsall. Paul McLean still has 1 minute remaining in his penalty. 5-1 is the score. Canada leading Czechoslovakia. Kearney at the middle, a shot, and Pajot deflects that up over the glass and out of play. A preview of Canada's Olympic team. They're preparing for the Olympic Games, Lake Placid, in February. And quite a busy schedule coming up for the Olympic team. Games against Czechoslovakia here in Calgary on the 3rd and 4th of the month. In UBC on Saturday, then they head to Japan for a few games. Puck dumped back into the Czechoslovakian zone. Keitel, number 17, goes back, almost lost it to Devaney. Devaney slips and falls at the side of the net. 1 minute remaining in the game. Here's Richter winding up for Czechoslovakia. Richter, number 8, passes on the right side, Inachuk. Inachuk trying to get it back to Richter, and it's intercepted and shot down the ice by Devaney, right to the goalie, Carl Long. Puck loose at center. There's a breakdown. Kearney, but he slipped and foul. Over anxious to get the pass and slipped as he got just to the blue line. 31 seconds left in the game. That pass stopped by Don Spring. Up on the right side, but it's over 2 lines on the offside pass.
Well, good call, ref. Paul McLean just jumped out of the box. You see him coming over to end the double minor that he had. Good call by the official, because coming out of the box, he was the far side of the center ice red line, and the pass from inside their own zone.
25 seconds left in the 3rd period in the game. Maxwell, Nil, Zupancic, Primo, and Hindmarsh have scored the goals for Canada. Juris has got the lone goal for Czechoslovakia. I'd like to remind you, coming up will be the Rose Bowl game on the full CTV network. Here goes Lamoureux. Over the line to Zupancic's shot. And that's the slide as it was deflected. 7 seconds left. Czechoslovakia clearing it to center. That's Bezak. And it goes right to Zupancic as the siren goes to end the 3rd period and the game. And the Canadian players off the bench to congratulate the performance of their goalie, Paul Pajot, as Canada outshot Czechoslovakia by a 33-29 margin in this game. And they win it by a score of 5-1. And a reminder again, coming up in just a few moments, we'll have the Rose Bowl. And we're all looking forward to that game. Thursday, of course, the Red Army will play Buffalo on the full CTV network. This is pre-Olympic international hockey from Calgary's Stampede Corral. The playing of the national anthem, and now the player awards.
Most Valuable Player Awards, presented by CFCN Radio. We are pleased to have a very special guest. The gentleman who will be making the presentation is a former NHL star with New York, a former president of the National Hockey League, a longtime resident of Calgary, Mr. Red Dutton. At each home game of the Canadian Olympic team, a panel of media members covering the game selects the most valuable players from each of the 2 teams, and these players are presented with prizes awarded by CFCN Radio. The man chosen by the panel for the visiting Czechoslovakian national team, number 8, Pavel Richter. For the Canadian national team, the player chosen from the University of Calgary, Jim Nill, number 12.
Great to see a warm and enthusiastic ovation. Ray Dutton making the presentations to Richter and Nil. This is pre-Olympic international hockey from Calgary Stampede Corral.
The most valuable player for Canada, the University of Calgary's Jimmy Nill. And Jimmy, judging by the lip you've got there, it was quite a physical game.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough game. I guess it's more of our style of game tonight. A lot different from the Russians, I think.
Feel good to beat the Czechs?
Oh, it's great. This is 4 in a row for us. We beat the Russians 3 and them once now, and it's just great.
You got a pretty goal from Dalvis.
Yeah, it's a great face-off. He won the draw, and I guess it's about time I started putting in the net.
Okay, Jimmy, 2 more games to go in this Czech series. Looking forward to the Olympics after that.
Well, that's for sure. I think we're really getting pumped up now.
Okay, Jimmy, congratulations. The MVP for Canada, Jim Nill from the University of Calgary. And so, with the final score, Canada 5, Czechoslovakia 1. This is Mike Adams on behalf of the CTV telecast crew, bidding you a very pleasant good afternoon from Calgary and inviting you to join CTV's Super Series 80 Thursday when the Soviet Red Army takes on the Buffalo Sabres of the NHL.
National Team Challenge on CTV. The Olympic team of Czechoslovakia in exhibition with the Canadian Olympic National. Brought to you by your Chevrolet and Oldsmobile dealers. Test drive a new Chevy or Olds today. And by Labatt Breweries of Canada Limited. Brewers of Labatt's 50 Ale and Labatt Blues. Exhibition pre-Olympic hockey on CTV.